Morning, and you're very welcome to a sun-kissed Anglesey Road in Dublin 4, just south of Dublin City here. Andrew Leonard bringing you these pictures this morning of the Goldfish Telecom YMCA Salver final. The most glorious morning for cricket. Sunday the 13th, the final day of action. And we've got two sides coming into a grand final in a curtailed season. Greystones first against the Hills seconds. I've got former Irish women's captain Isobel Joyce in the commentary box with me again. We're going to be sick of seeing each other soon,
You'd never be sick of me, Lenny. How lucky are we that we get to watch a couple of games in such great weather over the weekend. Two finals we watched yesterday. There was also a third, the Adamstown Inaugural Cup, and then we've got two finals in front of us today. Greystones have won the toss and they're bowling. Opening from the Hazeldean end, we've got Phil Cheetham. And Greystones have had great success bowling first in this competition this year, Lenny.
I feel a little bit like I'm coming across to sleep with the enemy. You're on home turf here today, Isobel, and I'm not just saying it. Merrion looks absolutely sensational today.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a team of people that have been doing the groundwork under the watchful eye of Dale McDonough. So first up, left arm over the wicket. Gentle pace, but right on the spot, Lenny.
Yeah, so we're at the equivalent of what is third 11 level now, the third tier of Leinster cricket. Yesterday we saw YMCA, the young men, take the top division in the LHW Financial Planning Leinster Senior League Cup. And Merrion, the host side here, their seconds win the IBI Corporate Finance Tulane Cup. But we're down to thirds level now for the Goldfish Telecom YMCA Salver. We're going to have the first runs of the day coming from the bat of Matthew Richards, and it's going to fly away across that outfield a lot quicker today here at Merrion than at Pembroke. We're going to start with the boundary 4.
It is lightning down there, isn't it? You can't strain your line at all with the field as quick as this. So, yeah, great shot to start off. He's been in good form, has Matthew Richards, averaging 66 for the season. And his partner Athar Faruqi averaging 42. Just 3 games to him, but these two will be comfortable batting here. They did play in the semi-final here last week against Merrion, where they came out obviously victors.
Yeah, and as so often you see from a fast bowler after he's been hit for 4, just bending the back a little bit more there, trying to get it through. Always good to see a left arm orthodox coming over the wicket to the right-handers. Opening the batting, as you said, with Matthew Richards is Athar Faruqi. And I just wonder, we're going to see 2 higher scoring games today than yesterday with that Pembroke pitch just a little sluggish.
Slash through backward point again, and a little bit more pace onto that shot. It races over the boundary. And even though they've got a lot of cover in that area, still manages to find the boundary, Matthew Richards.
Yeah, behind square, beating the despairing dive of the man at Gully. It looks to me like the kind of day that as soon as you beat the infield, it's going to be 4. We're getting the classic Irish Indian summer in September. We haven't seen that foreign object in the sky too often throughout July and August, but it's coming back with a vengeance now, is.
And once again, backward of point, but Gully manages to hang on this time, so Phil Cheetham doesn't look too happy. I don't think they've gone for too many runs in most of their group matches this year, Greystones. So sometimes it can be a little bit of a shock to the system when you go for a couple early on.
Yeah, really good stop there. It's a very deep gully, almost a short third man. 2 men behind square on the offside and the third man in place. So 3 behind square on the offside. Nothing being hit in front of square yet. Cheetham really starting to bend the back.
A really full one that time. Called a no ball by umpire Srinivasana Karp. And good decision from him. He's, of course, joined by Derek Dockrell, who'll be umpiring the Stevenson's end.
And yeah, every no ball these days is, of course, is a free hit. So
exactly.
Just going to wait to see. I didn't see the umpire signal free hit. Did you? He did. Okay. So we will have the first free hit of the day. It thudded into the thigh pad. I thought it might have just been in below waist height. What do you think is?
I think you've got to give that one to the batsman. It was slightly quicker again, and it was very they're given as no balls because they're so difficult to hit. So and they're dangerous, and it was directed straight at the body. So, you know, if you're in doubt, you give the no ball is what umpires are doing these days, and I think that's the right way to go about it.
And everyone loves to see a free hit as well, Isobel. So
Exactly.
give it a crowd entertainment. Here we go, the first free hit of the finals day. Driven elegantly, a really pleasing shot to the eye from Adher Faruqi. And as soon as you pierce the infield here, I think they had the razor that goes usually on top of my head across this outfield. It is lightning quick.
That's a gorgeous shot. What a way to get off the mark for Adher Faruqi. 3 boundaries in the first over, and I don't think that they'll be unhappy with that. What a start, 13 off the first over, and certainly looks like it's going to be a more free scoring occasion.
Yeah, well, I think immediately with 14 runs coming from this first over, I think that's the highest scoring over that I remember. Might have had one from YMCA yesterday that might have tipped past that, but we could be in for, rather than the low scoring thrillers we had yesterday, let's hope for some high scoring thrillers. 14 runs coming from that first over. An expensive start for Cheetham, and some real elegance in the batsmanship as well from Faruqi.
Well, we had 2 kind of cagey affairs yesterday, and while that was really entertaining, I think 2 high scoring affairs would be absolutely brilliant today.
Yeah, so we're going to have the Greystones skipper Michael Kirk, ex-YMCA, Michael and his brother Harry, St Andrews College boys, fine rugby players as well, the pair of them. Michael captaining for the first time this season. Slightly slingy action is he used to coach, Michael. He can get it through.
Yeah, looks like he let that one go a little bit more easily than his bowling partner Phil Cheetham let his first go. Slightly younger, you'd imagine, so we'll forgive that. But yeah, straight on the money. But it didn't take Matthew Richards too long to get the measure of his bowling partner last over, so we'll see how he goes about this one.
Big appeal, and Derek Dockrell's given him. And the batsman can't quite believe it. The appeal went up for LBW. I thought there might have been 2 noises at first but Derek Dockrell felt that one was out. The finger goes up, the first wicket falls.
I think there might have been 2 noises, but the first one sounded very much like pad. So, you know, it's always devastating in a final to go early. But the decision's been made. If to listen to the umpire, Matthew Richards will have to go for 9.
Yeah, we don't have replays to bring you here today, but we're watching it back on our screens on the slightly delayed feed, and certainly was 2 noises, and the batsman simply devastated.
So first wicket falls for the Hills, 14 for 1.
So here comes the number 3 for the Hills, Andy Kavanagh. Good member of the Leprechauns Cricket Club as well. Good young cricketer. Hard-hitting batsman. You'll see him bowl a few fast leg breaks as well, sort of darting leg breaks. Played quite a bit for the first 11 as well, so dropping down, he'll play a critical role today.
I saw him in the semi-final last week, and it looks like he's going to play the role of hitting the singles, letting everyone else bat around him. Good technique, and happy to let others take on the bowlers while he just sticks around for the innings.
Yeah, keep an eye on Andrew Kavanagh as well during the second innings. An exceptional fielder. Probably see him operate at backward point. Really quick to the ball. Short in stature, fast feet. Almost half a chance. A sort of straight pull shot back towards Kirk, who sprawls to his left. Can't get a hand on it.
Well, he kind of pulled out of that, didn't he? He immediately realised that he wasn't in a good position to hit that one through the covers, and it looked like he almost hit it back to the bowler, but managed to pull out of the shot in time. Pulls this time. It hasn't got all of that, so it'll probably just be 1. Greystones looked like a really good fielding outfit. Their warm-up was impressive, Lenny.
Yeah, it really was. David Drain and Will Houston barking the orders at the troops there from behind the stumps. Of course, Will, a very fine umpire as well, with the Leinster branch of umpires. So operating with the gloves on today instead. You can see the intent immediately from Andrew Kavanagh running between the wickets, really quick, but good intent in the field as well. Something about a cup final, it just gets everyone that extra 10-20% up for it.
Fuller, but Ather Faruqi happy to defend that one. Bit of rebuilding possibly for the Hills.
Yeah, well, 14 runs coming from the first over. Just the start you want, but then you lose the wicket. Michael Kirk, the young captain of Greystones, will be probably Greystones' strongest bowler. Getting a nice away shape here as well is. It's natural action.
Played leg side again. He gets a bit more of this one, Faruqi. That's the risks involved, and that one goes over the lightning for a really well played boundary.
Yeah, this outfield really is lightning sharp. As soon as you're piercing anything in the infield, and I think what Michael Kirk's going to be wanting to try and do, the Greystones captain, is just get through these first 6 overs of power play, get a little bit of relief. We'll probably see all 5 fielders allowed outside the circle. You'd have to think they'll be utilised throughout the rest of the 14 overs of the match, but got to make hay in the power play in T20 cricket these days, is he?
Well, I mean, yesterday we didn't really see much hay being made in the first 6, and the game was more like 50 over cricket, but I think today, with a quicker outfield and a slightly quicker wicket, the first 6 overs are going to be really key. Then change in the field. We will see Phil Cheetham return, but he's put cover out, and he has third man slightly wider, which I think is a good option.
Yeah, no one in the deep on the leg side.
Oh, there is fine leg out, so they're going to either have to change that or...
We could well have a no ball here, Let's whisper it. Don't tell them. Are the fielders, or are the umpires on their toes? 3 fielders currently outside the circle. Wait for the call.
Well, I think if I was the batsman and that had gone to hand, I would be I'd be shouting about those 3 fielders outside the ring.
Just want to make sure that man at fine leg's definitely on the pitch. He is, and my maths aren't the strongest but I'm going to count 1 at fine leg, 2 at third man, 3 at deep extra cover. That should have been a no ball, correct?
Yes.
Let's see, take 2. Let's see if the no ball comes out this time.
That's a classy shot to the leg side, and an awkward bounce means that one goes over the fielder at mid-on, who very frustrated, which is understandable, and a despairing dive means another boundary for the Hills.
Yeah, amazing how quick that outfield is, and it was really unlucky for the fielder at mid-on. It just took a hop, I think, off the edge of the artificial mat, and it popped over his hand, sprawling to his right, and he just couldn't get down at it. And despite the incredible chase, it's gone for 4.
Yeah, nothing you can do about that as a fielder. You do everything you can, but sometimes the outfield just doesn't help things. Missed out there. Andrew Kavanagh. Played across the line.
We're just doing a little bit of scrambling in the background, trying to check on our regulations. We might not be playing to T20I regs today, so the usual 6 over power play that we're used to in finals cricket, which we saw yesterday, of course, might not apply. So sorry for misleading you a touch there. The umpire's getting things right. They're allowed of 3 out, and they're operating with 3 out.
A much better length from Phil Cheetham there. Well, I mean, it's good to see the bowling team being attacking in their field placement nonetheless. I'll be interested to see if after 6 overs they go to 5. Everyone seems to be kind of used to those regs. But fair enough. We'll hold our hats and say sorry.
Yeah, hit into the offside this time by Kavanagh. He's really quick between the wickets, but straight to the deep cover fielder. Just going to be a single this time.
Oh, better over from Cheetham on this occasion. So the Hills moving on to to 24 for 1 after 3. We shouldn't have questioned such experienced umpires, Andrew. That'll
really should have learnt our lesson, shouldn't we?
Absolutely
not good from us. But we've had 3 overs gone so far. 24 for 1 now the score. Hill's gone along at 8 and over. Cavan and Faruqi at the crease. Michael Kirk's going to continue, the Greystones skipper.
Just slightly late on that one is Andrew Kavanagh. Missed out, you'd have to think. Looked a little bit frustrated, but a little bit more pace from Kirk than Cheetham. So sometimes it can be difficult between the overs to adjust. Yeah,
and Kirk's kind of slightly low arm action, the slingy action. It's just difficult to pick up, particularly when you first come to the crease. And he's generating some reasonable pace. Give me the end names. We've got the end that Michael's bowling from here.
That's the Stevenson's end, and the end that the camera is filming from is the Hazeldine end.
Yeah, we're just about 5 minutes south of Dublin City for our overseas viewers. A glorious day in September. And that's a glorious shot. Just to pick up, it cleared the one fielder on the leg side in the ring. Just a couple of bounces, and that goes away across to the river here. That's the Dodder over there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is the Dodder. We probably won't see any sailing in there today. We're on the near side of the square, so near side being the clubhouse side. So we might see some sailing over the clubhouse, but probably not into the Dodder.
There must have been some mighty blows through the years. The likes of John Anderson, some of those big hitters from Merrion days past. Would they have ever got it out there? Big appeal, but only from Michael Kirk. Interesting, Will Houston. We're talking about his umpiring experience behind the stumps. No appeal at all from him, so probably going down leg.
Well, you mentioned the Dodder and John Anderson, who'll be joining you shortly, Andrew, hitting into there, and he says that more when he was bowling. He watched the ball sail in there.
Well, I think John's of my ilk of bowling quality then as well. I reckon I'd have been dispatched down there a few times. Over the years, another big appeal. Again, 2 noises for me was that bat onto pad?
Yeah, it was bat onto pad that time, certainly. And I think the bowler realised as he was appealing, sometimes it takes the brain a couple of seconds to replay it in your mind. And I think that Michael Kirk did realise that it was bat first. So Derek Dockrell making no mistake there.
Hit powerfully down the ground. That's a super shot from Andy Kavanagh. It's a despairing dive at mid-on, full stretch to his left, but he can't even get a hand on it. And the 4th over is going to finish with a boundary. The 2nd of the over. 8 more runs coming. Consistency from the hills. The score 32 for 1.
Yeah, I think that those last few shots that he's hit to the boundary and boundary, Andrew Kavanagh, shows how bottom-handed he is. Doesn't play too much across the line when it's outside off, but bowl on the stumps or anywhere down leg, and he's going to hit you. So definitely one to bowl outside off too. And we're going to see a change of bowling at the Hazeldine end.
Yeah, going to be Stephen Ruin into the attack. We're trying to pick out the faces from the little headshots we have on our team sheets in front of us. It looks like it's going to be right arm over, a bit more military medium. Will Houston staying back.
Well, I really have a lot of respect for bowlers that bowl into the later part of their careers. It's not something that I think that I'll be looking to do as I get even older than I already am. The shoulder starts creaking.
You think back to last summer, it is, and sort of pre-COVID and what felt like the glory days. But you think about the Hills IBI Corporate Finance Leinster Senior League Cup that I think you and I were commentating on, and you think about bowlers in the latter stages of their career. Nazir Shokat, what a spell that was.
Incredible stuff, but he is an incredible athlete. I know he spends a lot of time doing his yoga, stretching and all that, so maybe that's the way to go.
You're just going to drift down leg, not the start you want as a bowler, and it's going to go all the way. We'll wait for the signal, but it is going to be 5 freebies, maybe a few nerves from Rowan. He was a little tentative approaching the crease into his action. And that's 5 free runs.
Yeah,
for the
Will
Hills.
Houston looks unhappy behind the sticks with his fielder at fine leg not cutting that off, but I think it was one probably the keeper should take. Fielder down at fine leg, too wide to stop it. Much better second ball. That's how often do you see that? First ball a wide, second ball good comeback.
Yeah, we're just watching back a few of the highlights from the final last night, and that delivery from some brilliant cricket yesterday, the Tulane Cup final. Losing the radar outside the off stump this time. Yeah, the Shiv Mangal brothers, and he sprayed 2 down the leg side before finding his radar and clipping the top of off. And it can just happen as a quick bowler, particularly if you've got a kind of the T20 4 overs all you have to work with.
What a beautiful shot that was from Athar Faruqi. Just strayed a little bit in his length. Stephen Rowan? Rook?
I think it's Rowan, yeah. We don't want to do him a disservice, no doubt his family watching on. Stephen Rowan.
I apologise. Stephen Rowan, just a little bit too full, and Athar Faruqi gets into great position and powers that straight past the bowler for 4. So long off in place now. We're moving up to 5 on the boundary. Long off, cover, third, fine leg and square leg.
It was a funny shot because it was definitely over pitched, but we saw the first boundary from Faruqi being very elegant through the covers. This time much more wristy, a flick of the wrists and working a ball from kind of outside off straight down the ground. Very pleasing to the eye again though from Faruqi.
Shorter, happy to take the single out to cover. Clever batting from Faruqi. Looks like an organised batsman.
He's elegant. Probably looks like he'd be more suited to the longer formats of the game, so that's obviously why he's up the top of the order for the Hills seconds, and ensuring that he's probably going to set down the anchor, bat through. Andy Cavan is going to try and take the aggressive approach.
Well, they're obviously bowling where he likes it, because Faruqi's 13 from 7 at the moment. Maybe they need to just bowl a more test match length, and then he'll just be happy to pat it back. But when it's up there, he's happy to take the bowler on. The Hills really going well now. Full again, but too far outside off. Andrew Kavanagh lets it go.
Yeah, Rowan can't hide his frustration either. His body language, he's really disappointed with how he started here. And it's kind of a little bit symptomatic of the entire bowling attack from Greystones so far. Too many loose balls.
Full again, but so full it was Yorker length. I just wonder, as we finish out the 5th over, the Hills 44 for 1, if Greystones might be suffering a little bit from having it and too easy a path to the final. They won all of their group matches, 6 out of 6, and they beat Clondalkin by 6 wickets in their semi-final by chasing 67, having bowled first. So Greystones are going to have to just realise that they're on possibly a different pitch, different outfield. There's going to be higher scores, and just accept that. And they've dropped the field now, but it's going to be a higher scoring game, and they might not find things quite so easy as they have up until this point.
So quarter way through the first innings. And we're going to have Patrick Wilkinson come into the attack, right arm over again. The 4th of 4 to be military medium. No spin on show yet from Greystones.
Beautifully bowled first up from Patrick Wilkinson. Maybe he's the guy that they need to bring on. He loves a battle. Looks like he's already in the battle with the batsman.
Yeah, that's absolutely perfect. Coming in, hitting good length outside the off stump. Beats the flashing blade. Faruqi looking to drive it through the offside.
It's definitely the line and length to bowl. He's got this field set for exactly that delivery.
Two through to the keeper now. Really good stuff from Wilkinson. Going to be signalled wide this time, maybe a little harshly.
Well, I think that it actually seemed away a little bit. It was wide by the time it passed the wide line, which is of course what Derek Dockrell is looking for. But good signs for Wilkinson in that he is eliciting some movement from the pitch.
Yeah, bend in the back now as well. Just walking back on the replay on my screen, Patrick Wilkinson was not happy with that wide decision from Derek Dockrell. Gave him the full old-fashioned double teapot.
Well, that's not going to get the umpire on side at all, is it? It's not a good idea to give the umpire stares. But no doubt Derek Dockrell won't pay any heed.
He was certainly tight to that wide line. Of course, Derek Dockrell, the ex-Cricket Leinster president. Pulled powerfully into the deep. A short ball doesn't work at all, and he puts his hand up to acknowledge it. Faruqi growing in stature throughout this innings. The first boundary in the leg side from him. That's a really good shot.
Yeah, square. There is a square leg on the boundary, but he's in front of square, and you have to think that on this pitch, if it's sitting up like that, if it's going to go to square leg, it's probably going to go behind. So it might be a better idea to pull that fielder backward. But Faruqi didn't even run there. He knew from the moment it hit the bat that he was getting the full amount for that one along the ground.
Straying down the leg side this time, and Derek Dockrell will extend the arms to signal wide again. Yeah, we're just taking a look at his action here on our screen in front of us on a slightly delayed feed. Very much a front-on action, and you can see probably his natural delivery will shape back into the right-handers, Isobel.
Yeah, it definitely looks like he's pushing it in, but I think he hits the seam and moves it away. So if he gets it right, he could be very difficult to face. And that's just exactly what he's found on this occasion. Gone through the defences of, through the defence of Ather Faruqi. It wasn't really a defence, it was a very expansive shot. But Wilkinson gets his man, and he is delighted with that.
Yeah, an absolute beauty from Wilkinson into the attack. And he strikes in his first over, finds his line and his length. Really does have a nice action. Comes in powerfully, hits the deck, and that one's come back in off the seam. That is kind of the natural shape he's probably going to bowl with that front-on action. Reminds me a bit of someone like Andre Nell, perhaps. And bowling at a good pace for a man of his age. So joy for Wilkinson, joy for Greystones. The second wicket falls.
Well, that's exactly the tonic that Greystones needed. Ather Faruqi was looking like he was getting into his stride. But Malcolm Byrne now will join Andrew Kavanagh, and this is the partnership that the Hills will hope stays at the crease for a long time. Really good batsman, Malcolm Byrne. Strong guy. Yeah,
going to have to be checking into the Cricket Leinster website here quickly to have a look at the starrings. How's Malcolm Byrne not up in the first? Quality player.
Well, he's probably starred below the line. We can confirm that a bit later, but you know, it just shows the strength in a club if they can have someone of Malcolm Byrne's stature in their twos.
Yeah, for those tuning in from overseas, of course, this is the second 11 of the Hills Cricket Club from up in Skerries, North County Dublin, against the first 11 of Greystones Cricket Club from Wicklow, just south of Dublin, the county south of Dublin, just over the border there. That one thuds into the pad, clearly pitching outside leg. No real appeal, a stifled appeal from a few square of the wicket, like we are in our commentary position here, Isobel.
Well, they seem an excitable bunch, don't they? So it was more just the hope than the actual thought that it was going to be another wicket in this Goldfish Telecom YMCA Salver final.
Again, seeing movement though from Wilkinson. Big appeal again, but just because of that natural angle, probably pitching outside leg. Might have struck him maybe in front of middle, but there's no way that's going on to hit the stump. So at the end of 6 overs, the Hills 50 for 2. And we're going to have the first change in the commentary box today. I'll wave a socially distanced goodbye to Isobel Joyce and be joined by the ex-Ireland international and Merrion CC and Leinster legend. I've got John Anderson in the box for the first time with me. John, how are you?
Hello, Lenny. Fine, thank you.
So we were having a discussion yesterday, myself and Fintan McAllister. I'm not sure if you were watching all of the stream about probably the best batsman he's ever played against, and the first name that came to his mind was your good self.
Yeah, Fintan's a good friend of mine, so cheers, Fintan.
Rowan's going to continue here for Greystones. Run up just seems to have shortened a little bit. Sliced into the deep by Kavanagh. Kavanagh wants two. Malcolm Byrne has absolutely no interest. He's just walked that solitary one. He's happy to take the strike.
Yeah, good intent there from Andrew Kavanagh. Very hard running, looking for two. Malcolm Byrne maybe a little bit older and happy to take the single. I think maybe a little period of consolidation needed here. The Hills losing 2 wickets inside the first 6 overs, albeit getting 50, so going at a good run rate, but maybe a little period of consolidation needed.
Yeah, you might not have just seen it on your screen there, but I think it's fair to call Malcolm Byrne an experienced cricketer. He knows how to pace his runs. He just ambled that one very gently into the leg side and trotted through for one.
Yeah, he really is the key player for the Hills seconds here. Excellent innings last week in the semi-final.
Yeah, 2 wide outside the off stump. John, let me ask you about this season. It's obviously been a curtailed year. Really good effort from everyone involved to actually get cricket on, do you feel?
Yes, Lenny, it's take my hats off to everyone at Cricket Leinster for getting the season going. This one's driven by Andy Kavanagh out to the deep extra cover for just the single. Yeah, excellent effort to get everything. I mean, there's no playbook for getting a season up and going in a global pandemic. So, yeah, brilliant to get everything going. From a personal point of view, maybe a little bit disappointing that. Let's watch this time driven by Malcolm Byrne for one. Yeah, a little bit disappointing that only got the 6 games in, but I suppose that's just the way it is this year. You have to take it on the chin and move on.
It was funny, kind of in previous years there's almost a bit of cricket fatigue come September, but we were talking about this yesterday. It was, you were dying to keep winning to just get another week of cricket in this season.
Yeah, I suppose there's only one competition this year as opposed to other seasons when you got a league, you got a cup, T20, All Ireland. So this year there's only one trophy to play for and everyone's going all out trying to win it.
Yeah, and that's kind of right the way across the divisions. Traditionally at first 11 level you'd have had at least 3, with the All Ireland 4 competitions. Down the grades you'd have had a league, a cup and a T20 cup as well. But this season 7 trophies is all that's being played for. And you're watching live coverage of the third 11's grade final, which is the Goldfish Telecom YMCA Salver final. We saw the winners of the first and second grade stuff crowned yesterday. And who do you feel is in the ascendancy at the moment here, John?
I think it's pretty evenly balanced at the moment now, Lenny. The 2 Greystones will be happy with those 2 earlier wickets. Faruqi and Richards have been going really well this year. So those were 2 key wickets. Obviously Malcolm Byrne and Andrew Kavanagh are experienced players and excellent players themselves. So I feel this partnership is really key now for the Hills. They'll be looking to maybe consolidate for a while and then look to up the ante later in the innings.
Tell us about the scores here this season. We had some rather mixed weather, I think it'd be fair to say, throughout July and August, but have you been getting good flat decks, high scores in the T20s here?
Yeah, the wickets are always good down here, Lenny. It's an amazing place to play. The outfield is lightning today. It's always lightning. It's an excellent wicket. But yeah, maybe the scores this year have been a little bit lower than normal. I suppose it was glorious weather in May and June when we weren't playing, and as soon as we came back to play, the rain came. So yeah, that certainly had an effect on the wickets, and maybe this year the scores have been a little bit lower than normal.
Yeah, I think possibly some of the batsmen just taking a while to get their touch in. I was talking to a few Irish boys through the lockdown, and they were saying, God, when we get back to cricket, it's going to be terrible because no one's had a hit. No one's able to practice, so we're going to see terrible shots, big wides from the bowlers. But the bowlers seem to have dominated the bat a little bit. Yeah,
certainly across all the games that I've looked at and throughout the divisions, the scores have been lower than normal. So yeah, maybe the batsmen haven't found their touch as quickly as the bowlers.
Really good stuff this from Wilkinson. He's just angling it away from the left-handed Byrne coming over the wicket. Byrne at the moment not really finding an answer.
Yeah, you got the key wicket of Faruqi there in the previous over and 3 dots to start his second. So yeah, Patrick Wilkinson certainly hitting his straps from the start. Malcolm Byrne 2 off 7. So
another big swing and a miss, and if you just heard a noise in the background, that's Malcolm Byrne for the second time hitting the ground. It's going to be signalled wide by umpire Derek Dockrell. A little harsh again, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure Patrick Wilkinson's too pleased with that again. But yeah, certainly he's bowling in a good channel. Oh yeah, that just looking back on the replay, that was maybe a little bit harsh, but certainly bowling to the one side, outside off.
This is good tight stuff, and that wide decision from Derek Dockrell maybe just robbing Wilkinson the chance of a maiden, because it's 4 dots and just the solitary wide to come. There is pressure building on Malcolm Byrne, you can feel it.
Yeah, Malcolm Byrne, very powerful player. They showed that here last week in the semi-final. Just taking his time to get going. Patrick Wilson, another full ball, quick single. A little misfield and able to scamper through for the single.
Yeah, Kavanagh really quick between the wickets. I think he was probably always getting home at the keeper's end, and Wilkinson tried to pick up and turn and throw at the non-striker's end. A brilliant description from Frinton McAllister yesterday of how he said that runouts used to happen from the ex-Ireland coach Adrian Birrell. He said the only time you get them occurring is when you've got one hare and one tortoise. I don't want to describe Malcolm Byrne as a tortoise, but certainly Kavanagh the hare.
Yeah, maybe that was a result of a couple dot balls and the pressure building, and Andy Kavanagh just seeing an opportunity for a quick single, and in the end it was comfortable. But yeah, that's the pressure building and getting through for a single, so every run counts there.
Cut beautifully into the deep by Kavanagh. It's a short boundary this side, and it's going to fly across the outfield for 4 more. Right on top of the bounce, and the wide decision ends up costing Wilkinson and Greystones 5 runs.
Yeah, what a shot to Andy Kavanagh. Short and outside off. Absolutely crunched that backward of square. Short boundary towards the clubhouse end here, and that raced away. No chance of stopping it. And into the pavilion steps for 4. Great shot.
How often does that happen? You see a very marginal wide given in the last ball, always seems to go for 4, doesn't it?
Yeah, not sure Patrick Wilkinson will be too happy with that. Didn't think it was a wide. Anyways, a good end to the over there for the Hills, with 4 runs coming. End of the 8th, 61 for 2.
Yeah, just shy of 8 runs and over at the moment, as Rowan's going to continue. Full ball, big appeal from Will Houston. Not really an appeal, almost a celebration. But the umpire unmoved and given not out. To my ear on first sight, it sounded like he hit the ground again to me.
Yeah, definitely hit the ground. Will Houston, very enthusiastic appeal there. Very enthusiastic player, Will Houston. Not much of an appeal by bowlers. Rowan.
Hits him on the full, and another big appeal, this time for LBW. But it's so difficult coming over the wicket to a left-hander. You've got to get the ball to straighten, even though it thuds into his pad on the full. Again, probably just hit him outside the line of leg stump. Malcolm Byrne can't get going.
Yeah, I think Malcolm Byrne, as experienced player, will just, although he hasn't got going, he'll be happy just to have a look, get himself going.
Super shot from Andrew Kavanagh, dances down the track, gets it over the infield, and as soon as you pierce the infield in any capacity, whether it's along the ground or in the air, it's going to be a boundary. This time 4 more for Kavanagh. He feels they're not going quickly enough. Going to continue to take the aggressive route.
That's a brilliant shot, showing great intent there. Andrew Kavanagh down the wicket, over wide mid-on, and once again races away for 4. Brilliant shot, and maybe Malcolm Byrne's not too worried about taking his time yet, because Andrew Kavanagh's going so well.
Kavanagh just getting a strike rate above 100 for the first time. Slower ball this time, looked like the off cutter. Just works it down to Will Houston behind the stumps. One of the lovely things to see this year, John, has been the kind of different number of clubs that have got to cup finals. We haven't seen one club be dominant right the way down through the grades, and great reward for both Greystones and the Hills here today.
Yeah, Greystones have had an excellent season so far, winning all 6 of their group games and a convincing win in the semi-final. So they're full of confidence, and the Hills winning 4 out of their 6 group games, and also a convincing and comfortable win against Merrion down here last week. So yeah, 2 evenly matched teams, brimming with confidence.
Yeah, and I think one of the nice things about the sort of almost imposed, it was imposed upon Cricket Leinster with the curtailed season to amend the structures. So rather than have your kind of traditional 16 league divisions where it would have been quite hierarchical, you had to merge a few of those divisions, and you gave a few more clubs opportunities up the grades that perhaps wouldn't have had that before. So the likes of Greystones coming up into this to play against some clubs' second 11s have really seized the chance. You saw Knockharley yesterday going into the Tulane Cup final. Kavanagh just gets a little bit of treatment, a little bit of a drink, but it's been a really good sort of progression for a lot of the clubs from down the divisions.
Yeah, this season is like no other, so had to mix it up. Get some different teams, mix up the leagues, different teams you play against, different players. But Greystone certainly showing that they're comfortable at this level.
Yeah, and the rather simplistic structure, a little bit like they've had imposed upon them with the Bob Willis Trophy and County Championship, has ended up being a big success. 2 groups, all playing it against each other once, into a semi-final and straight into a final. It might be something that they'll look to replicate for the sort of the T20 format, maybe in seasons going into the future.
Yeah, from a personal point of view, I hope this is a once-off and we get back to the normal structures and playing all our normal cricket, able to mingle in the bar afterwards.
It was all a bit surreal yesterday. You had a trophy lift and great joy for almost a chance just out of the hands of the diving man at short mid-wicket. Didn't carry. I think that's Michael Kirk, the skipper there. Couldn't get his hands on it. Yeah, it was a surreal day yesterday, to be honest, John. There was great joy for Merrion seconds and YMCA firsts. But, shortly after Merrion seconds had lifted the trophy, they were asked, can you please leave the ground for COVID regulations?
Yeah, there will be no drinking out the cups this year anyways.
Something you would have done a bit over the years with all your success in your club and interprovincial international career, John? Almost a mix-up, and an extraordinary throw will get them through for the overthrow. Andy Kavanagh did want to try and get through for 2, and the throw balloons over the head of Will Houston. The end result's going to be 2 runs to the total.
Yeah, an excellent throw to start hitting at the bowler's end, and then an complete opposite, a terrible throw going straight over Will Houston, the wicket keeper, and able to come back.
If you're watching on YouTube, you can scroll back through, John, and it's worth having a look if you just flick left or right on your keyboard or on your smartphone screen. That one's flicked into the leg side, just going to be a single. It's worth it looking back just to watch Will Houston's reaction as the throw goes over his head. Talk me through this one.
Yeah, not happy. As I said previous over, Will Houston, a very enthusiastic cricketer.
Passionate.
And the double teapot came out there, not happy at all, but T20, every run counts. And Malcolm Byrne just maybe missing out on that full toss on the legs towards the short clubhouse end.
Really well bowled by Wilkinson. He's got up ahead of steam. Just takes a little while to, probably a man like Wilkinson slightly later in his career, get all those limbs loose. Getting the ball through at a really good pace now.
Yeah, as you say, Lenny, he just angles it in. That's Andy Kavanagh maybe a little bit late on it. Straight into the pads. So yes, Patrick Wilkinson certainly getting it through now.
Movement both in the air and off the pitch. He's getting good movement off the pitch. Super stuff this from Wilkinson. It's been a really impressive spell. Don't think the figures of 1 for 17 from 3 really do it justice as to just how impressive it's been. The halfway stage. The Hills seconds. They're 71 for 2.
Yeah, I think at the halfway stage, Lenny very evenly poised. I think Hills will be happy to have the 2 wickets. Greystones will be happy to have the 2 wickets, and the Hills will be happy to be 70 odd, with Andy Kavanagh 25 of 28 and Malcolm Byrne 7 of 14. Just setting a little bit of platform here.
Yeah, and Malcolm Byrne, I just wonder, is he going to start feeling the squeeze a little bit? 7 off 15 now, as you said. That's not a strike rate you want to be operating at in T20 cricket. But he's a wily old wise campaigner. He knows he can still catch up.
Yes, he's experienced, but also very powerful. So he's got the shots in his locker. This time off the pad. And a scampered single, Andy Kavanagh. Very quick.
He really is quick between the wickets, and looking forward to seeing him field later on. Played quite a bit of cricket with Andy Kavanagh. He's ever agile, ever enthusiastic, and just a great man to have around your team. Doing a good job here for the Hills. 25 he has. Going at about 7 and over. They've got to be looking north of 150 here. And not signalled wide. Umpire just indicating it might have clipped the pad.
Yeah, if it didn't clip the pad, it was definitely a wide. So good call from umpire Srini Kopp. Andy Kavanagh felt he might have missed out there. His little pickup shot into the clubhouse would have done.
Looking for the helicopter shot that time. Andy Kavanagh can't get it away. Full into the block hole. Yeah, I was really impressed by the standard of umpiring yesterday on finals day. The main final, Paul Reynolds and Azim Ali Baig. And before that, Bala Kalash and Aidan Seaver. And I'll have to wait to talk to Izzy about it later, but getting a bit of banter on from Aidan. Inside edge this time. Just going to be miss the leg stump. I was getting a bit of banter from him on Twitter last night. He was watching back our commentary and wondering, were we being condescending towards, were we joking how complimentary we were being towards him? Absolutely not, Aidan.
No, he's Aidan's excellent umpire. You get the feeling that the Hills feeling the pressure maybe a little bit, yeah. Just the one leg bar off the over, and then a big shot there by Andy Kavanagh getting inside edge for 1.
Edged and not given. Will Houston was absolutely certain. I heard a noise, and the bowler says to the batsman, "Why aren't you walking?" Talk me through that one, John Anderson.
No, we've just been talking about the excellent umpiring. I think that's an excellent decision by Srini. I didn't hear an edge myself. Another enthusiastic appeal from Will Houston. Greystones thought it was out. To be honest, Lenny, I didn't hear an edge myself. So
I certainly heard a noise.
All right,
from where we are, 30, 40 yards, sorry, more than 30, 40 yards away, about 50 yards away in the pavilion here at Merrion. There was an audible noise from me, and just looking back on the replay, I wonder was there a deflection as well. Greystones were convinced, but there's always two sides to the story. Malcolm Byrne felt he didn't get near it. Will Houston was convinced, wasn't he? The celebration throw into the air immediately after, but the end result is all that matters. It's a dot ball, John.
Yeah, another dot ball, and maybe a little bit more pressure now mounting on the Hills batsman. Patrick Wilkinson hitting Andy Kavanagh on the pad again, just with that little bit of angle in.
Yeah, never an easy job that the umpires do. They only get one look at it. No DRS here at the cricket Leinster level. Would have been interesting to see the snicker on that. Certainly Will Houston for the second time today, devastated not to get the decision going his way. Good shot and well fielded, mid-off gets down in the long barrier, make sure there's no damage done, just the single. Wilkinson's been outstanding here, John.
Yes, bowled excellently today. It is fourth over now, 1 for 18. And Malcolm Byrne, 7 off 17, will be looking to get himself going here.
That's a glorious shot, but it can only get as far as mid-off, who feels really well, tries to effect a direct hit, but Malcolm Byrne would have been safely home anyway. Malcolm Byrne just showing a few signs now of starting to find his timing.
Yeah, that wasn't straight out the middle of the bat, but unfortunately for him, straight to mid-off. Greystones, like you say, Patrick Wilkinson has bowled exceptional line and length, and I've been really impressed with the field placings. I know there are no field restrictions today, but they've put the sweepers out. They've kept mid-off and mid-on up, and really looked for the dot ball.
Powered into the offside, and just a slight fumble. That cover will allow them to get through for the single. Yeah, of course, this is part of finals weekend for Cricket Leinster. 7 trophies being played for across the weekend. Just give you a quick update from the Russell Court Trophy, which is sponsored by Ed Sports. A great man, Ed Dwyer, a great supporter of Leinster and Irish cricket. And North Kildare thirds taking on Terenure thirds there in that. North Kildare at the moment, they're batting first, and their thirds are 39 for 3 after 10. And finally, some relief for Malcolm Byrne. He gets it just over the head of the man at mid-off. Andy Kavanagh again wants to. Malcolm Byrne doesn't. Teasingly, agonisingly, just over the head of mid-off, who's right on the edge of the circle.
Yeah, there's certainly the intent. Malcolm Byrne may be feeling the pressure. Not quite out the middle of the bat. And just spooned over mid-off. But certainly looking to up the ante here, Malcolm Byrne. 9 off 19 now. So he's had a look.
Just loses his radar slightly down the leg side this time. Patrick Wilkinson maybe getting a little bit tired into the last couple of deliveries of his spell. Going to be 2 freebies for the Hills. 2 more runs to the total.
Yeah, there was also a couple full tosses. Andy Kavanagh receiving 2 full tosses this over and only managing to drive it to mid-off and cover. So he feels he might have missed out too. Pressure building on Malcolm Byrne here.
Half an appeal, but Malcolm Byrne well forward, and with the angle and movement that Wilkinson generated, absolutely no chance it's going on to hit the stumps. Really good spell of bowling. 4 overs straight through from Wilkinson. He's going to finish with 1 for 21.
Yeah, excellent spell of bowling from Patrick Wilkinson. The Hills now 79 for 2 after 12. So 8 overs to go, and they'll be looking to change gears here. Andy Kavanagh, 28 of 34. He's well set, and Malcolm Byrne, he's had a look, hasn't quite found a stride here. 9 of 20. So they both had a look, and they're ready to go here.
Good to see a change in bowling here, John. Manpreet Singh, the 5th bowler to be used for Greystones, of course, moving down to Greystones. Manpreet Singh, very fine cricketer. We'll see him operate with right arm over.
Currently 4 in the ring. The boundary fielders on the leg side, fine leg, deep square leg, and long on the off side. There's a cover, extra cover sweep on the boundary, and a third man. So 5 in the ring. Manpreet Singh, and he comes.
Kavanagh trying to use his feet again. You've got to love Will Houston behind the stumps, trying to effect the run out. He's always thinking.
Yeah, 5th bowler on now, and Andrew Kavanagh looking to attack. Mid-off up in the ring, so maybe looking to come down and clear mid-off.
Driven into the offside, going to be work to do for the cover sweeper. He gets around to it quickly. That's Harry Kirk, or Michael Kirk, sorry, apologies out there. Really good work from the skipper. Not often you see a skipper sweeping out at deep extra cover, but with this trend of younger and younger captains that we're seeing across the Leinster game, it might happen a little bit more often. We're seeing that more and more often though, John, aren't we? Younger captains, lads coming through in their early 20s, whereas going to be a leg side wide. No, it's going to just clip the pad and not be signalled wide. But we're seeing that, but traditionally sort of back in the 90s you'd have had your club captain always would have been in his 30s, but more and more often now you think of Jack Tector at YMCA, Fiacre Tucker at Pembroke.
Yeah, and down here in Merrion, Tom Stanton, early 20s, also captain of the club. Maybe it's just the older fellas know how much work it is, and especially off the field, so more than happy to pass that responsibility on.
Finds a block hold, really good bowling from Manpreet Singh, and Malcolm Byrne. He's just going nowhere right now in his innings. 10 now off 23 deliveries. How can he find the accelerator? What does he need to do here, John?
Well, I think Greystones have bowled really well to him. They've bowled one side of the wicket. They bowled full on most occasions. That one right in the block hole, that's difficult to get away. So, yeah, no, he's certainly needs to up the ante here, Malcolm Byrne. Hasn't got one in his slot yet. He played an exceptional innings last week in the semi-final, seeing the Hills home comfortably in a run chase against Merrion fours.
We're seeing Will Houston up to the stumps for the first time because of Kavanagh coming down the track, and Kavanagh stays in his crease, just punches that. Really well timed, runs across the outfield, beats the man behind square in the offside. Going to be 4 runs.
Yeah, just sliced away Andrew Kavanagh. There's a despairing dive at point, but unable to stop it, and that's raced away down to the scoreboard and over the rope for 4. Another boundary to Andrew Kavanagh. That's just the release he was looking for. He had come down the wicket in that over on a few occasions. That time just getting a little bit of width and squirting it away past point for 4.
Yeah, so 13 overs gone, and the Hills move to 85 for 2. I'm going to bid you farewell. I'll pass over to Isobel Joyce, who'll stay on call with John Anderson.
Yeah, thanks for that, Lenny. We're going to see a change of bowling from the Hazeldean end. Torfin Newton will be bowling his first over of the game so far. 6th bowler that Greystones have called on as they enter the last phase of the game. And you've been mentioning, John, that the Hills need to put their foot on the accelerator. And that's hit nicely from Malcolm Byrne. A quick single from him, not something we're used to seeing this game so far.
Yeah, certainly now 13 overs gone, they would need to put the foot down. Well hit by Malcolm Byrne, but straight to mid-off, just unable to find the gaps at the moment.
His senior partner in this target setting, Andrew Kavanagh, looking like he's definitely looking to accelerate. Lets that one go, and Derek Dockrell signals a wide. It's been a feature of the innings so far that when bowlers come on, they tend to bowl a couple of wides early on, John. Bit of nerves, maybe?
Yeah, a bit of nerves in a final, but in general, Greystones have been very disciplined.
That's a better line, and just a little bit of movement away. Andrew Kavanagh planting his foot down the wicket, and probably a good idea they let that one go through. I'm not sure he would have made good contact with that one. Fast outfield, John. They got off to a great start, 51 from 6 overs. What do you think is a good total for the Hills to set here. Down the wicket from Kavanagh, inside edge. They'll probably just get the one. Yeah, what do you think is a par score? Mix up here between the batsmen. And that's Malcolm Byrne on his way. He never wanted the second. He called no a number of times, but Andrew Kavanagh insisted, ran past him, and he actually almost made it home.
Yeah, Malcolm Byrne not happy with that. We did mention that when you got someone as lightning as Andrew Kavanagh, that there's possibility for a run out. Andrew Kavanagh calling for two, Malcolm Byrne not interested, and then he almost made it back at the bowler's end.
Yeah, well, possibly Andrew Kavanagh thinking, well, if his partner's not going to run properly, that he's going to put pressure on him to run very well. And unfortunately, it's ended in the dismissal of Malcolm Byrne. He's gone for 11. It took him 24 deliveries to get there, so perhaps time for someone else to have a go. So a run out. Greystones very happy with that. Means that the Hills are 3 wickets down after just over 13 overs. 87 is their total so far. Andrew Kavanagh, the set batsman, on 33. And he's joined by Ajiz Farooqi. Full toss first up. Well, sorry, apologies, that's Kavanagh facing. Doesn't manage to get hold of that one. Just goes for a single. I apologise, Ijaz Farooqi, who will face up to the next delivery.
Yeah, another full toss. Andrew Kavanagh missed out again there. He's hitting himself in the thigh pad. Knows he probably missed out. The Hills going at just over 6 and over here. After an excellent start, if the Greystones have just pulled it back a little bit more.
Yeah, just the 37 runs coming in the past 7 overs. Shorter. Farooqi looks for a quick single. Looks like these two are a better matched pair between the wickets. Just get home. I think he would have been in trouble if there had been a direct hit, John.
Yeah, direct hit would have been out. That was excellent fielding. A cover ran into his left swoop, picked up through and missed by an inch. Andrew Kavanagh is lightning, but he probably would have been gone there. That's the end of the 14th over. The Hills now 90 for 3. And Ijaz Farooqi maybe showing the bit of intent there. With the running between the wickets that was maybe lacking in the previous partnership.
Well, we entered the last phase of the game, 6 overs to go for the Hills. Those middle overs so often, John, are tough ones for a batting team to kind of gauge how quickly they should go, and no different here today.
Yeah, we thought that maybe they were setting themselves up, Malcolm Byrne and Andrew Kavanagh, for the last few overs. They had a good look, and you feel that they were just about to change gears and up the ante.
Beautifully timed, but straight to the fielder from Ijaz. Good signs for him. He's hit that one straight out the middle, so he probably won't take too long before he looks to accelerate.
Yeah, Greystones now with 6 in the ring, really putting pressure on the new batsman. Manpreet Singh with 2 dots to start his second over.
Yeah, I think Greystones see an opportunity to sneak through a few miserly overs in this occasion, and Manpreet Singh hitting a good length and line. They take on the fielder again. Direct hit would have certainly been gone, but he survives again. Ijaz Farooqi living on borrowed time, you might say.
Yeah, no, he hit that very well. Probably too well to take the single, and the pressure that's been mounting with a couple dot balls and good field placings by Greystones, having men in the ring, trying to save that single. A direct hit would have been miles out.
Well, you mentioned that they were putting a lot of pressure on. They recognise that there's a set batsman out there and long on has gone back. Full. Kavanagh squeezes it out. They might look to come back, but good fielding in the deep. Good quick pick up and throw, and Will Houston, tall guy that he is, manages to collect a bit of a wayward throw.
Yeah, Greystones really doing well here, putting the fielders out for Andrew Kavanagh. Once again, 6 in the ring for AJ's Faruqi.
Looks to go leg side and asks the question of the umpire. They're successful on this occasion. Srinivasana Karp raises the finger, and it's a short stay at the crease for Ijaz Faruqi. He'll have to go for 2, and Greystone's really seeing an opportunity to keep the Hills score down on this occasion.
Yeah, hit on the pad, trying to play across that. AJ's Faruqi looked pretty straight, that, and the Greystones big celebrations. They really up for this. 4th wicket goes down with the Hills on 92, and 2 quick wickets there. But I feel the field placing's really paying off there for Greystones. 6 in the ring, putting the pressure on. There could have been a run out 2 balls before. AJ's Faruqi just looking to play across the line. A little flick, misses it, and trapped in front.
Well, that brings to the crease the Hills skipper Roger Kerr. Captain's innings really needed for the Hills now, as you have to think over 130 is needed. Full and straight to start, and Roger Kerr manages to keep out the last of that over. That's 15 gone. The Hills 92 for 4, and I think when they were on 51 after the power play, they would have been looking at maybe 140, 150 in their 20 overs. Not looking likely now, John.
Yeah, 5 overs to go. Let's call it 8 and over. That's another 40 runs. They'll probably be looking at 130. Certainly, Andrew Kavanagh, he's the man in. A lot rests on his shoulders now.
Full, but he manages to get an inside edge. And you just get the feeling that Andrew Kavanagh is starting to feel a bit of frustration. He obviously, seeing him running between the wickets, he loves to take on the fielders, loves to get up and down the wicket. Wasn't able to do that for the middle overs when he was batting with Malcolm Byrne, and he just feels that they should be further along, and he needs to maybe relax a little bit. Slaps that one back at the bowler. Well collected by Thorfinn Newton. He's done well since he's come on, the youngster.
Yes, he has, into his 2nd over now, and he's gone for the 5. 2 dot balls to start this over, and you can see the frustration there from Andrew Kavanagh. Going for a walk out to the square leg umpire.
Dances down, well hit, but there is a fielder down there. They've set their field well to him, Greystones. Just the single for him. And Roger Kerr doesn't look like he's going to be running at the speed that Andrew Kavanagh would have been looking to do with his previous partner. So boundaries are probably what they'll be looking for, the Hills, as they creep towards the century mark for the innings. That one in the air, and it's taken at cover. Great catch there. Some of those can be difficult, but it's spinning, and Roger Kerr doesn't trouble the scores. Doesn't manage to score a run before he's dismissed. First wicket for Thorfinn Newton. The Hills 93 for 5.
Yeah, once again, excellent field placings by Greystones. 4 men in the ring on the offside. Asking the question of Roger Kerr to go up and over. He tried, unfortunately, just off the bottom of the bat. Didn't get any of it. And a comfortable catch at cover. 5th wicket now for Greystones. With the Hills 93 in the 16th over. Greystones really up for this. 3 quick wickets now. And a lot of pressure now on the Hills. 130 seems a long way away now.
Yeah, well, Barry Grimes comes to the crease to join the set Andrew Kavanagh. With every wicket that falls, a bit more pressure goes on Kavanagh, but He's on 37 off 46 or 45. He's looked like he's been struggling a little bit to score in the last over or two. So big job here for the lower order to get the Hills up to a defendable total. And really good to see again that Greystones have that ring field on the offside. They know that Torfin will bowl outside off. They'll look to keep taking wickets. That's the best way to keep the score down, John.
Yeah, well, they're asking the question of the new batsman, are you prepared to take us on? Roger Kerr tried, failed, and they're asking the question now of Grimes, this time on the legs, and flick down to fine leg for just the single. Barry Grimes gets underway, first ball.
Yeah, an elegant looking shot from Grimes. Always good to get off the mark with a good looking shot, so that'll give him some confidence going on. No doubt he'll be looking to just get off strike, take the single any time that he's facing, and get his set partner facing up. Andrew Kavanagh played back, and again really good fielding off his arm bowling. I think a rather ironic appeal from Will Houston behind the stumps. He's an umpire himself, so knows the rules, but I don't think there was any intent as we finish out the 16th over from Andrew Kavanagh to obstruct the field. But the Hills on 93 still after 16 overs, 5 wickets down.
Excellent stop there, I thought, for Newton off his own bowling. He's now bowled 2 overs, 1 for 7. It's an excellent 2 overs from him, and if you can't field off your own bowling, then don't expect anyone else to do it. Certainly shown the way there. Andrew Kavanagh would have, it's a big stop that, because he would have wanted the single to get on strike. So Greystones really up for this. Few quick wickets, and they smell blood here. 6 men in the ring again. Manpreet Singh to continue from the Hazeldean end.
Will Houston acting as a stopper there, not the tidiest of takes behind the stumps, but effective. And we mentioned taking wickets, how important it is to keep the runs down, and since that 3rd wicket's gone down, the Hills only managing to score 6 runs, and they've lost 3 wickets. Derek Dockrell just replacing the bails. And bowlers number 5 and 6 have done a great job for Greystones here. Full again. Grimes takes on mid-on. Another opportunity, but unable to collect it mid-on, and another run-out chance missed.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of panic there. Barry Grimes hitting it to mid-on, sets off for the single. There's been a little bit of dodgy running over the last few overs, a little bit of panic setting in for the Hills. Loss of a couple wickets, pressure mounting, and well, at least Andrew Kavanagh back on strike now.
Is that an edge? What did that hit?
Big swing and a miss.
That's sometimes he's not a big guy, Andrew Kavanagh. Sometimes it can be difficult getting to the back end of the innings. If you feel like you need to be the one scoring the runs, you go away from your own game and look to play shots you might not normally play, and that certainly looks the case for Andrew Kavanagh at the moment. Dances down, unable to make any contact. I think when Will Houston came up to the stumps a few overs ago, it forced Andrew Kavanagh to stand still and hit the ball, and he was successful when he did that. And now he's kind of gone to the stage where he's running down the wicket and changing things that maybe he's not used to. What would you be saying to him if you were at the other end, John?
This time an inside edge down to fine leg for single. Yes, he did come down the wicket early in his innings and cleared a wide long on and got 4. So what I'd be saying to a batsman on this occasion is whatever you've practiced, that's what you do in the match. If he comes down the wicket in training and absolutely crunches them, then that's what you do in a match. So if that's his game, keep going with it.
Well, a really, really successful over from Manpreet Singh. His teammates show their appreciation. The Hills 96 for 5 from 17. So we mentioned a few overs ago they were crawling towards 100. They still haven't reached that mark yet. And we thought that 130 might be par, but they might be happy just to get to 120 at this point.
Yes, excellent over there from Manpreet Singh. 3 overs now, 1 for 10. 3 overs to go. Andrew Kavanagh will be looking to go big. No man in deep mid-wicket at Cal corner. So there's a big gap on the leg side there if he fancies that. Mid-off up in the ring, so he's got an opportunity to go over mid-off.
Clipped leg side, and it's gone into that vacant area you spoke about. They'll take on the fielder. It's well picked up, but the bowler can't collect, and it was really good running there. Barry Grimes knew from the moment he hit the bat that he was supposed to get back to the bowler's end.
Good running. Andrew Kavanagh still on strike, so another 2 runs to the Hills. That's the kind of intent and that they need to be showing between the wickets now with only 3 overs to go. This time straight to mid-off, just the 1.
Yeah, I think that good running between the wickets may be the answer for the Hills right now. Neither batsman looks like a big hitter of the ball, so 6 2s in an over is just as good as 3 4s, so might be the way forward for these 2 batsmen. Barry Grimes just taking a look at the field. There's 4 in the ring on the offside, but big gap between extra cover and mid-off. Dances down, hits in between mid-off and mid-on. Not a great strike, but has the desired effect of getting Andrew Kavanagh back on strike.
Yes, didn't get any of that, but certainly down the wicket, looking for the big shot. There's 6 in the ring with 3 overs to go. Brave by the Greystones. Yeah, didn't get any of that, but certainly looking for the boundary. Kavanagh back on strike.
Wide and full. Hits that to the cover boundary. I think this is a wicket that, you know, there's not a huge amount of pace in it, so as the ball's getting older, it's getting harder to score those boundaries. Cover comes in again as Grimes is back on strike.
Yeah, Grimes will be looking to go big here with the field in the ring. This is the opportunity for the new even though it's the new batsman.
Hit to mid-on, picks up well, but Grimes comfortably home. He's run well since he's come in. Barry Grimes knows his role, but Torfin Newton has still done a very good job in the 18th over, managing to keep it to 1s and 2s.
6 off the over so far, last ball. Derek Dockrell calls a wide outside off. Yeah, the ground is looking in great condition today, and you know, it's a big day for the players, also a big day for the ground staff. The ground staff even putting in the wide markers, painting the wide lines today, so good from them.
Off the pad, and Kavanagh will just saunter down to the other end. He knows that's the end of the over. It's been a good one from Newton. He's bowled 3. He's only gone for 15 in those 3. It's the end of the 18th, and the Hills are 103 for 5. Well, if you're just joining us, then welcome to the Merrion Cricket Club in South County Dublin. You're watching the Goldfish Telecom YMCA Salver between Greystones and the Hills. Greystones won the toss and elected to field first. The Hills got off to a really good start, 51 for 1 after 6, but Greystones have bowled well in reply since then, making sure that the Hills have only managed to double their score by the end of the 18th. So big 2 overs for the Hills now, 12 balls to see how many they can set. Manpreet Singh has been miserly in his 3 overs so far, so great man to be bowling the 19th. And
well
straight away, he's right up in the block hole.
Great ball. 2 overs to go. The Hills, the big 2 overs for the Hills here. But that's a great start by Manpreet Singh, right up in the block hole. And Andy Kavanagh unable to get that away. Where's he looking here? I reckon Cal corner is an option. He's certainly looking there.
I think you called it exactly correctly. It's an area he's shown he favours the leg side. likes to get the bottom hand in, but unable to get it over the man at mid-wicket on that occasion.
Yeah, excellent start to the 19th over by Manpreet Singh. 2 dots. Lots of pressure now on Andy Kavanagh.
Dances down again, manages to squirt it through the leg side. Has he managed to reach the boundary? A dive, but he's unable to stop it from crossing the rope, and a much needed boundary for Andy Kavanagh and the Hills.
Yeah, just a little bit over pitched on that occasion. Andy Kavanagh dancing down the wicket, thick inside edge, and absolutely raced away just off the inside edge. A valiant effort from long on to save the boundary, but unable to do so. That's a much needed boundary by the Hills. With 9 balls to go now in the innings, they'll need more of that.
Once again, right up in the block hole, and it's an absolutely fantastic over from Manpreet Singh. They have a slight change in the field in that mid-wicket, who was very tight in the ring, has gone right to the edge of the ring. So a good change in the field. I think it's almost an extra fielder on the boundary when you get them right on the edge of the ring. And they've recognised that's an area that he'll be targeting.
Superb bowling by Manpreet Singh. Right up in the block hole this time. Over mid-wicket. That's the area Kavanagh fancies. It just holds up in the... And Barry Graham's able to come back for 2. But this has certainly been an excellent over by Manpreet Singh, nailing his Yorkers just on that occasion. A little bit shorter, and Andrew Kavanagh able to get it up and over mid-wicket. 2 runs.
We see another change in the field. They're plugging that gap. They've recognised that's where Kavanagh's looking for, and another man comes over to the leg side from the offside. So a huge gap on the offside being marshalled by, I think it's the skipper, Michael Kirk. Nobody in extra cover. 3rd man up in the ring. Point, cover out, mid-off in. And 4 men out on the leg side.
Yeah, far 4 leg side field. Certainly this is the shorter side.
Plays across the line and doesn't manage to get anything on that one, Andrew Kavanagh. It was a shorter length ball, but it wasn't short enough for that shot. And Kavanagh's innings comes to a close.
Excellent innings by Andrew Kavanagh, just trying to get another boundary with only a few balls left in the innings. He has to go 48 or 59. Certainly the glue of the Hills innings, and he gets a good ovation from his teammates as he walks back to the pavilion.
Yeah, really good innings from him. Possibly not the role he's used to, power hitter at the end, but he tried to do a job for his team. Doesn't quite manage to reach the half-century mark, but no doubt if his 48 helps the team, his own team, win the game, he won't mind not getting that milestone. So we enter the final over of the Hills innings. 110 for 6. 1 over left. The youngster Torfin Newton to finish out the innings. 6 balls remaining.
Yeah, excellent over from Manpreet Singh. Only going for 6, picking up that wicket of Kavanagh. He finished his spell, 4 overs, 2 for 16. Brilliant bowling, nailing his Yorkers, and full and straight there on that occasion. Andrew Kavanagh, swing and a miss. You miss, I hit.
So what can Mohammed Hassan do in these final 6? Comes down, a big strike to the leg side. Sorry, apologies, from Grimes. The set batsman is let loose. Powerful strike, wide of long on. Just a couple of bounces and over the rope.
Yeah, down the wicket. Just wide of long on. And Barry Grimes, 8 of 7 now. He's going to be coming down every ball here, I reckon, looking for that vacant cow corner region. 5 balls to go.
Down again, and that's an even better strike. That one goes all the way. A full compliment for that shot. Just over the rope, and what a strike that is.
Yeah, it's 20th over, and that's the first 6 of the innings. Barry Grimes down the wicket, absolutely smashes that right out the middle of the bat, and clears the rope over mid-off. That's a great shot, right? Great start to the final over from the Hills. Barry Grimes 4 and now 6.
Down again. Couldn't get underneath that one. Long on comes in. He'll be trying to keep it to 2. Really good running from Hassan. And the bowler doesn't manage to get it to the wicketkeeper. Barry Grimes gives his partner Mohammed Hassan the thumbs up. Tells him, great work. Thanks for getting me back on strike.
Yeah, good running. Mohammed Hassan realises Grimes is going well here. He needs to get back for 2. As soon as the ball's let go, he needs to be a few yards down the wicket. And, there's only 6 wickets down, 3 balls to go. You've got to be running for everything now. Right, Barry Grimes, the mid-wicket area still open.
Down the track, this time goes straighter, tries to get between those fielders, but it's great fielding at mid-off, long off I should say, and he manages to get back once again. Barry Grimes, a full stretch dive, and he manages to get back in. So his teammates on the sideline showing their appreciations for his efforts.
Yeah, that was excellent cricket. Very well hit. Long off coming round, picked up, threw it in very athletically. But Mohammed Hassan comfortably back for 2 at the bowler's end, and it was Barry Grimes that needed to hustle and have a dive to get back in at his inning, at the striker's end. So another 2 runs, and 14 off the over so far. 2 balls to go.
Down again, and well bowled from Torfin Newton. Hassan wants to come back again, but I think a good decision from Barry Grimes not to run. As every run is gold dust at this point. 1 to come as well. A good comeback from Torfin. I would maybe have liked to see a change of pace during the over, but he's got 1 ball left to go, and a new batsman to bowl it to.
Yeah, that was well bowled, right up in the block hole, nailing his Yorker. Probably missed out the previous few balls. This time Hassan up and over, long off, and all the way for 6. What a shot, what a finish to the Hills innings.
Well, what a shot. You just got 1 ball. What are you going to do? You're going to hit it all the way for 6. That's what Mohammed Hassan said. He finishes the innings for the Hills. They've made it to 131 from their full complement. And it was an expensive over from Torfin Newton, who'd bowled so economically up until that point.
That's a brilliant finish for the Hills. Exactly what they needed. 21 off that final over. Moving the score after the 20 to 131 for 6. Exactly what they were looking for. Barry Grimes clearing the rope, and then Mohammed Hassan, last ball, his first ball. What does he do? Up and over, long off for 6. What a finish.
Well, we said 5 overs ago that 130 was what Greystones would have wanted to get to. I don't think they expected that an over or 2 ago, but that's what they have reached. Greystones needing 132 to win from their 20 overs. We'll take a break now, and we'll see you again in 10 minutes.
Very good afternoon. Welcome back to Anglesey Road in Dublin 4, the home of Merrion Cricket Club for this, the Goldfish Telecom YMCA Salver finals between the Hills seconds and Greystones firsts. Andrew Leonard here, joined again by the former Irish women's captain Isobel Joyce. Isobel, a game that is very intriguingly poised.
Yeah, it ebbed and flowed a bit in the first innings. It looked from the offset that the Hills might make quite a large total. They were well set after the power play, but then the Greystones came back and bowled really, really well in the middle overs, and then a big finish from Big Baz Grimes at the end helped the Hills up to 132, which we reckoned was about par. Sorry, 132 is the target. They made 131.
Yeah, what about Barry Grimes in that final over? One of the great social men of Leinster cricket, there's no doubt about that, and he is going to be telling that story wide and far through these winter months. You should have seen it, Lenny. I smashed him for 6. Here we go. Here comes the chase. I have a no ball and a free hit to start absolutely right from the off. It's Harry Kirk on strike, joined by Mirway's Nawab Zai. And opening the bowling for the Hills is Mohammed Hassan, but he's overstepped.
Well, Mohammed Hassan has had a good day so far, ran really well between the wickets, and he came in to bat for the final 7 deliveries and hit a 6 with his solitary ball in his innings, but a no ball and a free hit now, and unable to get anything but a leg by from it is Harry Kirk, but he gets down the other end.
Yeah, and another bowler, we've seen quite a few on show today, Isobel, who's angling the ball in a big way. A lot of movement. Remember, we're playing these T20 finals with clearly the red ball and white kit, so bowlers making good use of this new ball today so far.
Well, it's moved a huge amount.
And the problem is when you're swinging the ball that much, it's difficult to control. You've got to get it starting a long way outside off and strain down the leg side again. It's booming like a banana right now, Isobel.
Well, one of the other problems that you have as someone who used to swing the ball in myself is that you then start way outside off expecting it to come back, and then the ball will inevitably hold its line and be wide on the offside. So some work to do for Hassan to get his line in order.
Big appeal. He's absolutely convinced Mohammed Hassan, and not a solitary member of his team has joined him in the appeal. A little bit of charging the umpire, which I never like to see in the appeal, but I do love the enthusiasm, and the result is not out.
Well, I think that Shrini, who's the standing umpire from the Hazeldean end, we'll forgive him. We saw him running between the wickets in the first innings, and he's just an excitable guy, I think, Hassan. So far too much movement, you would have thought, for that to be given out.
Too high going down leg without doubt. Oh, skews off the inside edge. You can hear the gasp of frustration. I think exuberant would be the word I'd use to describe Mohammed Hassan. What do you feel?
Yeah, great word. Really like that word. And no malice in it. So it's been an eventful first over. That's all happening. Wides, no balls, appeals, inside edges.
Another wide, this time outside the off stump. So the radar is absolutely askew right now for Mohammed Hassan. But I'm just wondering, he's going to produce an unplayable one, I reckon, as well at some point here.
Yeah, he's an uncomfortable bowler to face. It's one of those when it's all over the shop. There's going to be one in there that'll just make its way through.
Yeah, that one just keeping a little bit low as well. Through to the keeper. Total just a little bit more than a run of ball that Greystones are going to need throughout this chase. We'll probably see Michael Kirk, the Greystones captain, come in at number 3, the brother of Harry Kirk. I'm not sure we've had a final yet without a set of brothers playing in it, Isobel.
Not one that I've seen anyway. So still 2 deliveries to come in the over. Finding his line and length a bit better now, Mohammed Hassan. Lots of energy in the field from the Hills. I'm surprised to see a couple of catchers for Hassan on the offside. Not sure it's going to make its way to them.
I think it's the classic traditional stuff where you just have the first slip in for the first few overs no matter what. Roger Keir there at first slip. Wasn't his day with the bat. We'll see him bowl his off breaks later on. Really effective operator at this level.
Good shot to mid-off. They decide to take the fielder on. Has a throw at the stumps, but it looks like Mirwaz was going to make it home anyway. That brings about the end of the first. And an eventful one it was. Greystones 7-0.
Yeah, you were watching the finals weekend this weekend here with Cricket Leinster. It's the culmination of what's been a curtailed season. 7 finals being played, 14 teams battling it out for the 7 trophies. And let's have a little bit of a chat about all of them. Yesterday we saw 3 of those in action. The IBI Corporate Finance, Leinster Senior League Cup. YMCA triumphed in that. Then we had the IBI Corporate Finance Tulane Cup, Isobel, which Merrion seconds triumphed in. Then it was the LHW Financial Planning Leinster Senior League Cup, which YMCA took. Great joy for the Tectors and the Lewises there. And yesterday there was a 3rd final. For the first time, the inaugural Adamstown Cup final was held out in Corca Park, and Tyrrellstown triumphed over Athlone yesterday. They were the 3 yesterday, and we've got 4 today on Super Sunday.
Yeah, well, you're watching the Goldfish Telecom YMCA Salver. That's between Greystones and the Hills 2. Currently, Greystones batting second. The Hills are the Greystones 6-0 from 1. It's Roger Kerr is about to take the second over from the Stevenson's end.
Yeah, spin to start with, the off breaks of Roger Kerr, vastly experienced cricketer. Played a lot of cricket in both England and Ireland. Starts with a short one and powered into the deep by Mirwaz Nawabzai. Going to be the first boundary of the chase for Greystones.
Well, it's been a theme today. Few loose deliveries, first few balls of a spell, but a vastly experienced cricketer, Roger Keir, and no doubt he'll come back strong from this. A nice attacking field from him. Has a kind of a gully in, and fielders in on the offside. He does have a long on and square or mid wicket on the boundary and cover on the boundary.
Good batting. Follows up the boundary by just punching it into the gap on the offside and getting through for the single. Roger Keir had the most horrific cricketing injury. I think it was last season, wasn't it? He wore one actually to the eye socket. Ended up looking like he was going to lose his vision at one point. And you saw him batting in a helmet today because of that. He said it kind of the latter stages of his career, he was happier batting in a cap, and he top edged one right into his eye. But great to see him back fighting fit and on the field today for the Hills.
Better length, but well struck from Michael Kirk. Yeah, a few injuries like that we've seen through, and great to see the helmets coming on such leaps and bounds. They're protecting all parts of the head, and all youngsters have to wear them these days. Short again, but a better pace.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you saw the footage of this one. It was really nasty, the Roger Keir incident. So pleasing to see someone who's been a great club man for the Hills and indeed a great representative of cricket in the province, back and in a final here on finals day.
Really well bowled. That's the line and length that he'll be searching for is this spell. Roger Keir, a little bit flatter, outside off, and then sees the searching bat of Mirwaz Nawabzai.
Yeah, and of course Roger Keir opening with the new ball, so just not a huge amount of turn at the moment. That one just skidding on with the arm through to the keeper outside the off stump, just beating the tentative proke of Nawabzai.
Proke is a good word.
Did I say proke? I meant poke, Izzy. Come on. We've got another final to go yet.
Lofted, but manages to get it over mid-wicket. They'll look for 2. Fielder does well, throwing off balance. So, well read from him. The end of the second, a fruitful one for Greystones. They move on to 12 after 2, and we'll just mention the other finals that are taking place today in Railway Union. Just down the road, North Kildare thirds taking on Telecom thirds in the Russell Court Trophy, which is sponsored by Ed Sports. North Kildare batted first and made 87 for 8 in their allotment. Telecom 7 for none from 4 at the moment. And later on down there we'll have Clontarf fourths taking on Leinster fours in the Whelan Cup, which is sponsored by Sports Hub.
Yeah, Ed Sports, of course, specialists in both hockey and cricket equipment. Moving into hockey season now, the end of the cricket season. And it's a beauty. Mohammed Hassan, he wants to appeal, he just wants a wicket. And my good God, what is going to happen if he gets a wicket is, what celebrations are we going to see?
I am dying for him to get a wicket just so I can see the reaction.
I'm going to call it, I reckon the cartwheel is coming out. I think if he gets one through the defences, the cartwheel's going to come out from Mohammed Hassan. I know he can't quite hear me, but I'm going to telepathically say, get the cartwheel out, Mohammed.
Is this something you know he does?
No, he just looks like a cartwheeler. I reckon it's coming out. And he's going to get one through the defences here, get the first breakthrough for the Hills.
That one's clipped off the legs and it will go for 4. Elegantly played through square leg. Doesn't need to run for that one. Mirwais now upside.
Thuds into very close to our commentary position here in the archway of the Merrion Cricket Clubhouse. Beautiful new building. This was finished just a couple of years ago. Ended up being nominated for some architectural awards as well, didn't it?
Yeah, 2014 it was completed, and it was necessary because Merrion suffered a flood. It ruined the clubhouse, and lots of fundraising and work went into rebuilding. There was a season without a clubhouse, but all seems worth it now as we've got a great view from underneath the covers here. Well bowled from Hassan. Good comeback.
He's just itching to get that breakthrough. Mohammed Hassan. Great to see such enthusiasm and exuberance on show right the way across the levels. So again, if you're tuning in from overseas, wherever you're watching things from, you're watching us here in Dublin, Ireland. It's the Cricket Leinster Finals weekend. 7 finals. Just off the inside edge, nearly ricochets onto the stumps. 7 finals, 14 clubs playing it out in what was a curtailed season because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and done really well to get cricket in, Izzy, and just the 7 trophies in the open competitions that are being played for, but we're going to see some great joy this afternoon, no doubt.
Yeah, well, sometimes when you only have a few competitions to play for, they're all the more sweet when you do win one. So great joy yesterday for YMCA and the Merrion Cricket Club. Another almost inside edge onto the stumps. So Mohammed Hassan wondering what it is he has to do to claim a wicket here and get his cartwheel out.
It's going to happen, I'm telling you. I'm absolutely certain of it. He's chomping at the bit. The real tragedy would be if he goes wicketless through his 4 overs. We're never going to know. We've got to find him a wicket here somehow.
Get him in the catching positions, give him chances at run-outs. We just need something to happen for Hassan. A strong shot straight down the ground. Clears mid-on, and another imperious-looking shot from Mirwais now outside. Finishes out the 3rd over. A frustration for Mohammed Hassan. Just got too full on that occasion. And Greystones move on to 20 from 3.
Yeah, really good shot that. It was probably flat enough to be catching, but it was just wide and to the left of the man mid-on. As we've seen throughout the day, as soon as you beat the infield here, you're going to get really good reward for it. So the only thing from a Greystones perspective, they'll be happy with no wickets in the wickets column, the boundaries flowing, but just perhaps a few too many dots. If they can just rotate the strike, these two, they're going to be putting themselves in a very dominant position. But the 2 batsmen look to favour the aggressive boundary route, don't they?
Yeah, well, in the power play, you can sometimes fall into that trap, can't you? We'll see a change in bowling. A catcher comes out, and Roger Kerr preferring to have an extra fielder on the leg side. Goes short again. Goes well fielded, an extra cover, but an easy single for the 2 batsmen. Yeah, there's an extra catcher in cow corner. Another boundary rider just in front of square. Long on is out. So if Nawabsai wants to score his boundaries, he'll probably be better off looking offside. Roger Kerr again slowing it up. Strays down leg side, but only just. So manages to survive without a wide being given away.
Yeah, we've seen a little bit of leniency from the umpires, not implementing the kind of strict leg side wides we're so used to at the higher levels of the game, but they've been consistent in that. The same for both sides. Hit into the sky, could be an opportunity. The man has to run back at mid-off, but it goes over his head. And it's going to be dragged in just shy of the boundary, just for a second. I thought that might have been the first opportunity for a wicket for the Hills.
Well, I think he just had to resist going leg side. He knows that there are a lot of fielders on that side on the boundary. So manages to survive. Just taking a bit of time out of the game. Amir was now upside. Changing his gloves, just whatever you need to do. Mid off, now gone back to long off.
Nicely bowled by Roger Keir. That's what he does. You think it's going to turn into you, but it just skids on. Flatter. Now Abzai looking to hit across the ball, pull it into the deep on the leg side. And it somehow just missed the off stump.
Living dangerously, Greystones.
Got him. That's the exact one. The off stump is castled. It's just skidded on with the arm. And Roger Keir, he's deserved that. That's the first wicket to fall.
Yep, he's looked to defend that, but stayed leg side of it. Like you said, not a lot of turn. It's actually moving away from the right-handed batter. Takes his off stump, and the first wicket, well deserved, you'd have to say, for Roger Keir.
Yeah, great delight for Roger Keir. He knows how important that breakthrough was. If now Abzai kept going the way he was starting to hit them, could have been trouble for the Hills. I just wonder who's ahead of the game at the moment. Very hard to tell. That first innings ebbed and flowed both ways. You felt like the Hills were going to be on for 160 plus early in their innings, and then it was all Greystones till that last over blitz from Grimes. How critical could that be? It's been a low scoring season, Isobel.
Yeah, well, first innings the Hills made hay while the sun shone. First they were on 51 after the power play, or what would have been the power play in usual conditions, but then they slowed up. So I think it is really important to try and make the most of it. But the Hills have a slightly different ploy than Greystones did. They were quite attacking with their field placement in the first 4 or 5 overs. The Hills opting to spread their field early.
New man to the crease is the Greystones captain Michael Kirk at number 3, and the family affair of Irish cricket continues. The two brothers batting together, Michael and Harry Kirk, St Andrews College boys. Play quite a bit of cricket up at YMCA, but they live down in Greystones and happy to play for their local club.
Yeah, good to see a bit of talent spread around. No doubt these two strengthening the Greystones team immensely. Seem to have a good bit of energy, taking on the captaincy as well. Boundary riding, bowling, batting, they can do it all.
Driven powerfully. That's a really pleasing shot from Kirk, and they'll get through for the single. The brothers communicating well, as you'd expect. Here we go, Mohammed Hassan. It's your third over. It's got to be this one. You'll only have one more to go after.
Well, he has found a more consistent line and length, but sometimes that can go against you. Matters know where it's going, so it's easier to play. If you spray one outside off down leg and then get the golden delivery in the middle, sometimes that's more effective if you're looking for wickets.
Just going to get those graphics updated at the bottom of your screen. There's a wicket down. Angled in again. You can see the shape that Hassan is getting, really attacking the leg stump, but just worked into the leg side. I'm a little bit surprised that Killian Everard hasn't opened the bowling. Such a talented young cricketer, played quite a lot of first 11 stuff. And he'll probably be the fastest bowler that we'll see on show here today.
Well, perhaps they want to make use of the early swinging conditions, and we'll see Killian soon, no doubt.
Hit down the ground and wide of Barry Grimes at mid-off, who is, again, great running between these Kirk brothers. That's Michael Kirk coming back, getting back for 2. 2 runs to his brother Harry.
Yeah, good understanding as you'd expect from 2 brothers. They look athletic between the wickets and be a really important partnership to break.
And good running again. These 2 Kirks putting the pressure onto the hills. The direct hit would have been close, but always likely to get home. Hassan just feels his opportunity going away from him to get involved in the game. He's almost striving too hard for the wicket, looking for the Yorker that time.
Yeah, it's typical bowler's mistake, searching for a wicket. Full again, well fielded in point. You mentioned earlier on how good Andrew Kavanagh would be in there, and he certainly didn't disappoint. And just an update on the score down the road in Railway Union. Terenure thirds in a spot of bother, chasing a low total, you'd have to say, of 87 for 8. They're struggling along, 26 for 3 after 9.3 overs.
Yeah, Terenure sprung a big surprise over Gorey, who had been unbeaten throughout that, hammering them down in Courtown in the semi. So perhaps the big final occasion getting to Terenure a bit. They've been searching for that silverware so hard.
And that's the end of the 5th over and the end of Hassan's 3 out of 4 overs. Still wicketless for him, but Greystones moving on to 29.
Is he going to bowl the 4 straight through? What do you feel? He's not going to want to be held back, is he?
No, but you know, it's sometimes you can get a good few wickets in the last few overs, so perhaps a good option if that's what he's looking for.
Roger Kerr is going to continue. The 6th over. We will get those graphics just updated for you at the bottom of the screen. I'll give you a manual score update for the moment. The score is 29 for 1 after 5 overs. So going right around the run of ball that they need at the moment. And that one is smashed down the ground. There's a fielder at long on. He nestles under it. The sun gets in his way and it's dropped. It goes through his hands. You could see immediately the sun was going to be an issue. He's looking straight into the sun. He put his hand out to try and block it, but it's burst through his hands, and to add insult to injury, it's gone on for a boundary 4.
Yeah, you feel like that's something that happens a lot for this team, that opportunities go down to that long on position off Roger Kerr. Disappointment for him, but bit of a change in the field. Apparently in this team you drop one chance and that's the only one you're going to get.
It was absolutely immediate, wasn't it? And I think they've sent Andy Kavanagh across from Cow Corner over to long on now. That's a glorious shot, straight as a die down towards Kavanagh. Kavanagh's quick, but he can't cut it off. That's going to be a much more convincing shot for 4 this time from Kirk. Outstanding batting, really good stuff from him, and he's capitalising on that missed opportunity for the Hills.
Yeah, tall guy, managed to get a big stride in, so you can't get your length wrong, especially if you're not really turning it. Slows up the pace. That's well bowled from the veteran.
Yeah, huge moment in the game there, you'd have to think, that drop of Kirk. Just to give you another score update as we get our graphics updated, the score now 39 for 1. And that's much more pleasing shot, clipped into the leg side by Harry Kirk to the man who put him down at long on. So we're going to have the first change in the commentary box. I'll bid farewell for just for the moment to Isobel Joyce, who's going to go off on a lap with her husband John Anderson. I'll be joined by Cricket Leinster board member and proud Greystones man involved in the setting up a Greystones cricket club. That's David Drain. Draino, thanks for joining us right in the middle of the cup final.
No problem, Lenny. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a cracking day here in Merrion. The field's looking fantastic. Looks like a good contest between the two teams, and that's all you could want really for a final, isn't it?
It's been a cup final that has already ebbed and flowed in almost every direction you could imagine. It looked like you were out of the game after 5 overs. You fought back hard. You should have gone in a domineering position, and then that final over fireworks from Grimes potentially put the Hills somewhere around par.
Yeah, absolutely. We were just saying there before that we expect them to get another 20, 25 runs the way they started. So, we were happy that we pull them back to about 130. So, yeah, we think we can do it. We're confident we're doing it. But listen, they're a good team, the best team we've come across so far this year. So we're going to have to play well.
Yeah, I'm just conscious of the fact that at the moment the graphics at the bottom of your screen are incorrect, so I'm going to continue to give you updates via voice as regularly as I can till we get those fixed up. The score at the moment is 40-1 after 6 overs, and we are going to see the first change in bowling. The ever enthusiastic Mohammed Hassan is taken out of the attack after 3 overs, and we're going to see a young star of the future here, Killian Everard, a really talented young cricketer and a great kid to boot. He'll come into the attack. I'm speaking with David Drain. David, tell us a bit about the origins of Greystones Cricket Club. It's been a great story.
Yeah, we started about 8 or 9 years ago now, Lenny, and it was just there was a number of lads who lived in that area, were playing for the D4 clubs, and we thought surely there should be something around our area as opposed to all of us travelling all the time, and that was really it, and we just made it happen.
And the partnership and the journey to finding your own ground has been a long and interesting one, but you've ended up in sensational facilities there at Druids Glen at the moment. Oh
no, absolutely. Druids have been very good to us, and hopefully that may last longer in the future. I mean, we'd still love to have our own ground where we, like some of the top clubs here, where we have access whenever we wanted and the ability to do what we like, if you know what I mean.
It's a lovely shot through extra cover, and the man at cover, Roger Kerr, is quite square, so it's going to beat him, and it's a big chase on. But as we've seen all day today, if you beat the infield, it is a glorious manicured lawn of an outfield here in Anglesey Road. Lovely shot for 4.
Absolutely, yeah. I was saying to the boys here, if we play proper cricket shots and hit the gaps, you get 4 runs, you get value for shots. If you time it as opposed to trying to just smash every ball, we'll be all right.
And the story of Greystones, you're putting out, is it 3 men's sides now? There's a women's side as well?
Yeah, we have 3 men's sides, a TAV side, social side, which has always been very strong, a ladies side. We have our first girls side this year, and we have 4 kids teams, so that's really pleasing. We've got a good batch coming through, and I look forward to seeing them go into the senior ranks in years to come.
Yeah, for those perhaps watching from overseas, Greystones in County Wicklow, just south of the border from Dublin, just across the border there, beautiful seaside coastal town, and their home ground there at Druids Glen, one of the most famous golf courses in the country. If you ever do get the opportunity, you occasionally get some touring sides coming over and asking you for a game as well, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, we do, absolutely, and it's purpose built. Well, I say purpose built. We're very lucky that we have the resort and the 2 golf courses, 2 championship golf courses there that they can avail of if they do come to play us and stay there. So this year's obviously been a bit tricky, but in the future.
Yeah, it's unfortunately been a year that none of us, I think, are ever going to forget, 2020, but there must have been, in your role on the Cricket Leinster board, it must have been a very challenging year as well. CL has done a great job to get some cricket together.
Oh, absolutely, Lenny. I mean, there was a point where we were going to get anything at all, and to be honest with you, it was all too difficult. Were we going to bother? But obviously we did, and I'm glad we did.
I think the natural thought with this sheer scale of confusion as to what the process is going to be for the future was, are we better doing nothing at one point, maybe in sort of May, June? But the way it's played out, it's actually been a really interesting and exciting season.
Oh no, absolutely. I know we're in the middle of September now, and it feels like we've had a full season, even though it's really only been a couple of months.
Nicely bowled, and it beats Roger Kerr. I think it strikes him on the leg actually, so they will get through for a single. Yeah, and it almost feels a little sad. You've got a glorious September day. You want to keep playing, and we've got to bring it all to a close now.
I know, absolutely. It was sort of a bit like when we were in lockdown, wasn't it? In sort of March, April there, it was glorious weather, glorious sunshine. Then as soon as that was over, it seemed like it rained all the time. You can't win, can you?
I think the cricket gods and the weather gods in Ireland closely aligned to tease us. Yeah, it is a beautiful day. That one just too wide outside the off stump, and signalled wide by umpire Srinivasana Karp.
I have to say the Hills are doing us a few favours here. Too many sundries, I'd say they'd be happy with, but it's great for us. It keeps the scoreboard ticking over, reduces the pressure, and we don't have to play any silly shots or chase the ball.
Yeah, going to give you another score update. We're just coming towards the end of the 7th over. The score currently 47-1. Just having a few problems getting our graphics updated. Outstanding. Andy Cavan, I told you to keep your eyes on him at home. He's a live wire at point, dives full length to his right, gets on top of it, nearly affects a direct hit at the non-striker's end. Outstanding fielding.
Fantastic bit of fielding. That ball was 4. if he hadn't stopped that, and nearly, as Lenny said, nearly got a run out of it. So superb bit of fielding.
Yeah, you've got to get your best fielders in the right positions, and that's where the Hills went wrong just moments ago. He should have been in it long on, such a critical position for spinners. Beautifully bowled. Two young talents you're seeing here. Killian Everard with the ball and Andrew Kavanagh at backward point. He top scored at the bat in the first innings, Kavanagh. And keep your eyes on both these two young cricketers. Really good to see the youth coming through. And you've got a lovely combination really on your side. A lot of older lads who are in the autumn of their careers. I don't want to offend anyone, but some good youth coming through as well.
I'd like us to say that we have a fair bit of experience. And we have some youth coming through too as well. And the thing I like about the team as well is we all enjoy each other's company and we get on really well and we enjoy our day out at the cricket, which I have to say really helps with team morale and the fact that it helps you to win in close clutch situations, I think.
Yeah, and if you're giving up all your time to come and enjoy your cricket, you want to be enjoying each other's company. So Roger Keir is going to continue. He's going to bowl his four straight through. An off spinner is smashed down the ground straight towards long off. Good protection in place, and we've got 5 fielders outside the circle now for the first time. I'm just going to describe that field to you. We've got long off and long on out, an old fashioned cow corner in deep mid wicket, and an deep extra cover as well.
Yeah, changing the field, bringing up cow and putting in a gully if you like.
Interesting position for an off spinner, but again I suppose Keir he doesn't turn it a huge amount, skids it on.
He has that great arm ball that he bowls, sort of a bit like an outswinger as well. Always used to get me out.
Yeah, it used to get me out with reckless abandon as well. Regular abandon.
So maybe that was the rationale for the gully. I see the gully's gone now and cow corner's come back in.
Yeah, the Kirk brothers really combining nicely here. Tell us a bit about these two boys. Good rugby players, good cricketers, good athletes all round.
Yeah, they're just good guys. They're really nice. When they came to the club a couple of years ago, they brought a new dimension for us. And great players, great skill. And Harry in particular has a fantastic eye. Just such a natural. And, you know, Michael's really solid.
Michael's first year of captaincy, how's that gone?
Yeah, no, it's been a difficult year for everybody and all of the captains, and you know, and Michael's a natural. He's fairly unflappable, which I think is fantastic in a captain, and fairly level-headed, and he keeps us all going. Slight pause in play here.
Beautifully bowled, big appeal and given. I think Kirk thought that he got back. But Srinivasa Karp at square leg is giving it out. He can't quite believe it. I wonder, was his back foot down?
It's hard to tell from here, Lenny. You're going to have to back the umpire on that. But, yeah, it did look like it was a very marginal call.
Yeah, we're just going to have a look at the replay on our screen. It drifted on with the arm. He certainly came down the track initially. Got his back foot in, but I wonder, was it the stutter step? So the bails might have come off just... As I think that's Harry Kirk, isn't it?
It's Harry Kirk, yeah. And to say he's disappointed, I think, would be an understatement.
Yeah, he looks absolutely gutted, and it's a big moment in the match because Harry Kirk is doing all the scoring. The graphics just gradually updating at the bottom of your screen there, and you can see he had 38 of them, and he has to go now.
Rogers burgled another wicket.
It's what he does. You can't buy experience, and he's utilising that, the wily old off-spinner.
So we have young Thorfinn Newton in her number 4 to face the experience of Roger Keir. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes, see who wins this battle. Newton off the mark with a single first ball.
Yeah, really good stuff from Roger Keir. That's exactly what you want from your off spinner. He's going to finish with the figures of 4 overs, 2 for 20. Outstanding stuff from the grizzled veteran. You saw that injury he had last year. It was really nasty, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's great to see him back. You know, I was just saying to him before the start of play, I thought he retired. A bit like myself. But it's good to see him back. He just enjoys it too much. I can't see him ever retiring, Lenny.
People like you and me, lovers of the game, will keep playing into our 60s and 70s, mate. As long as you can still move and still roll the arm over, you can still contribute. That's a great thing about cricket.
The way I look at it, there's always disability cricket.
Yeah, lovely. It's one of the magic things about our sport. You get you know, often 2 generations playing together, sometimes even 3. Lots of fathers and brothers and uncles and nephews all playing together, and of course nieces and aunts as well.
It's just such a great game. It's, you know, I always say to the young lads, it teaches you so much, not just because it's a sport, but about life as well. You need to be patient, and you know, you need to look for opportunities when you're batting and bowling. So it's a great life skill.
Yeah, it's a special sport, the one that we've been given the opportunity to enjoy throughout our lives. And I know it's into September now, but if you are interested in getting involved, get on down to your local club, wherever you are across the province. That's a beauty. Probably one of the best deliveries of the day. Thorfinn Newton comes forward to it, can't get a bat in it. It swung in and went away from the bat. Absolutely sensational from the tall, young, quick bowler Killian Everard.
Good ball that. He was going hard at it, so if he'd got something on it, it would have carried. So I'm just lucky that he didn't.
Yeah, one of the nice things you see about Everard as well, he comes wide of the crease, so he angles the ball in, but then takes it away off the seam. So when he gets it right, he's a real handful.
Yeah, sometimes it's a lost art there, Lenny. You know, guys just come in the same spot, you know, over after over. To be able to use your crease is a great skill to have.
Yeah, real beauty from Killian Everard to start his second over. I'm just going to keep giving you the score update via voice at the moment. I think we're somewhere just around 51 for 2 in the 8th over, or in the 9th over now. Cut away by Michael Kirk, but straight to Andy Kavanagh. And I think your boys have learnt that Andy Kavanagh is not the man to be running 1-2.
Yeah, you learn pretty quickly who's got good arms and who's quick across the field, and you don't take any chances. Michael Kirk on strike here. See if he can find a few gaps. That's going to be his aim.
Yeah, certainly taking a little while longer to get going than his brother. Again, straight to Andy Kavanagh. Seems like the ball's following him at the moment. Andrew Leonard here bringing you these pictures for Cricket Leinster. I've got David Drain, who's... Do you have an official role at Greystones Cricket Club? Are you a president? Are you a secretary? What are you doing these days?
Just old Fooster, I think, Lenny. I don't have an official title as such, you know.
You just do everything.
Yeah, I'm a there and a thereabouts, you know.
You're also a Cricket Leinster board member. Great to hear the thoughts of David Drain throughout this live stream. That's a nice shot, airily taken, and I get the shout off air from David Drain of 4 bits. I think he's forgot he's on commentary there for the moment. Runs quickly across the outfield. How good is it to see these live streams, and not just at the top level for the, you know, the interprovincial and the first 11 club stuff, but right the way across the grades?
I just think it's great because we, you know, the lads have been talking about it all week, and, you know, making jokes when we need to go and get our hair done and our facial hair trimmed and all that sort of crack. So it's been a good bit of banter because they're well aware of it, and it's really nice. You know, we have one of the guys, a fellow opening bowler who spent a lot of time in Dubai. All his mates are watching.
That's absolutely magic, isn't it? The technology. Cricket Leinster teaming up alongside Merrion Cricket Club here. And yeah, huge credit to everyone involved at Cricket Leinster for getting these streams to happen. It kind of adds that lovely dimension to finals day, doesn't it? You get to finals day and you kind of get the added reward of the bit of status, you know?
Absolutely, it's fantastic, and you can watch yourself back, and you know yourself, Lenny, some people love that and other people abhor that. You know, I was saying to Phil that he was even saying to me before, his dad was sending him clips of his second over and he should have been a bit taller, all of this sort of stuff. So, you know, you have all of these coaching experts.
The big surprise for me, Drano, is that you didn't find your way into the starting 11 today when you heard the live stream was on.
You know, I came down during the week and offered my services up as a net bowler, took a few wickets. You know, I thought I might have been with a shout, Lenny, but not to be.
Still operating your trade. Just down the teams now. We're going to see another change in bowling, and it's an enforced change in bowling because the 4-over spell of Roger Keir completes. Each bowler can only bowl a maximum of 4 overs, and we're going to see the leg breaks now of Andrew Kavanagh. And we could be about to see something you don't see too often. I thought he was going to bowl in the cap there, but he's not. It tosses that one away. We saw yesterday one of the bowlers bowling the reverse baseball, but these COVID times, of course, one of the guidelines is you cannot pass your cap to the umpire.
Yeah, that's correct. So, and it's a bright sunny day as well, so you never know. Not a big fan of the old cap backwards than myself though, Lenny. I'm a bit of a traditionalist, I must say.
Yeah, you're more of a floppy hat, a wide brimmed, the Aussie, the wide brim, the baggy green. Yeah, So we could have a slip in place for Andrew Kavanagh. He's a leg break bowler. Does have a googly, but mainly bowls flat, quick leg breaks. Not a huge turner of the ball. And he starts very nicely. Good loop on that. And as you always say when you're fielding the deep off a leg spinner, watch the spin. That one nearly deceiving the deep cover fielder.
I mean, he was well positioned at deep cover. I thought he might have put him a little squarer because of that, but I know he went straight to him, so what do I know?
Yeah, another lovely shot, though, from Michael Kirk, just starting to find his range. Nicely bowled again, as you said, pushing hard at it. Thorfinn Newton skewing off the inside edge and poor running. Could well have been two there, but Thorfinn, I think he was just surprised by the leg break, the additional bounce that Andy Kavanagh found. He does get it down at a good pace for a leg spinner.
He does, yeah. Thorfinn's usually a very good runner between wickets, so I'm surprised that he didn't push for two there. He's one of our quicker guys between wickets.
Flatter this time outside the off stump and almost half a chance. I think it's Barry Grimes at backward point. He dives one-handed and he ends up, I think, putting down the catch. It would have been a very good one, though.
Tell you, it would have been a very good catch and would have put the Hills in the box seat, I think. Michael Kirk will see us through, hopefully. A solid player. Didn't get up. I don't think the ball bounced as much as he thought.
Yeah, I'm just looking back on my screen. The second ball, it's difficult for us because we're square of the wicket here at the clubhouse, but the second ball was actually googly from Andrew Kavanagh. That's why Thorfinn Newton was so surprised. Out of the back of the hand, turning back into him and getting that additional bounce. Follows it up with the leg break. And it nearly found the wicket outside the off stump. And it's all happening out here. Dancing acrobatics at backward point this time from Grimes. He shakes his head. He's not happy with himself, but he saves a run there.
It's a very interesting contest, this, between bat and ball, isn't it?
Pulled into the deep, comes off the top edge. I don't think it's going to carry to the man in the deep, and it plugs, and the fielder's fallen over. We're seeing all sorts going on. It's been hugely entertaining so far, this Goldfish Telecom YMCA Salver.
Don't turn away, you might miss something. And Michael Kirk was hoping to hit that into the dotter, I think. Got his top edge and only managed to get as far as mid-wicket, luckily.
Kavanagh finding some good areas with his leg breaks. Really got over that. Very eventful, but the end result is just 3 singles and no wickets. So none for 3. We're going to have to just keep reminding you the score because those graphics are incorrect at the bottom of your screen. And in fact, to add to the confusion, the scoreboard has stopped working at the ground. So I'm going to give you an estimate of the score at the moment. I'm going to say it's 61 for 2 after 10 overs. And we're going to have a change in the commentary box. Going to pass on to the happy couple, Isobel Joyce, who's joined by John Anderson.
Thank you, Andrew Leonard. So game evenly poised, despite what you see on your screen, as Lenny has said. Sorry, apologies, it's correct now. 64 for 2 after 10. Top edge. It's a chance. Wicketkeeper calls it. He comes underneath and takes a good catch. That's a huge blow for Greystones as Michael Kirk punches his bat in frustration. That's the wicket that the Hills were looking for. And that's Michael Kirk gone for 12.
Yeah, short ball there for Michael Kirk. Just a little bit late on it. Killian Everard just maybe a little bit too quick there. Top edge and well taken by the keeper. Always the keepers when it goes up in the air. And Greystones lose their 3rd wicket. 64 for 3 now in the 11th over. That's a big blow for Greystones. The game was evenly poised, as Isobel mentioned. The Hills after 10 overs were 71 for 2. So Greystones just a little bit behind, but now lost the 3rd wicket. And probably the Hills just a little bit in the Hills' favour now.
Yeah, definitely not what Greystones needed. He lost his brother a couple of overs ago. Harry Kirk was looking good earlier on, but he was stumped. Then Michael Kirk followed him. Now we have Thorfinn Newton is on strike as they crossed in the middle during that catch. And he's joined by Manpreet Singh at the non-striker's end. So Killian Everard Another wide has been a feature of his spell so far. When he gets it on the mark, he's bowled really well, but too many extras from him, you'd have to say.
Yeah, the Hills are accustomed to be very disciplined in their bowling. Last week in the semi-final, they were very disciplined. Just Everard losing his line outside off stump on a couple of occasions today. Edged and dropped short of first slip. Half a chance maybe. And Newton goes through for a single.
Yeah, good stop in the end from the skipper, Roger Kerr, and in slip. Don't think it reached him, so he'll be happy to have just stopped that from going for a boundary. That brings the new man on strike, Manpreet Singh. Bowled beautifully in the first innings, really pulled Greystones back into the match. What can the all-rounder do?
Wide again outside off stump, and Srini calls a wide. Yes, Manpreet Singh bowled very well in the first innings. 4 overs, 2 for 16, but now all to play for. In with the bat, you feel that this partnership is the partnership that's going to have to win it for Greystones. Defends back to the bowler on this occasion. Yes, the Hills are, all the teams that we've come across over the years have been, they're noticeable for their discipline, and certainly last week they were very, very disciplined. And one thing's also noticeable, the way they keep on attacking. They still got a slip in place.
Not a good idea to take on the fielder Andrew Kavanagh. He's lightning quick in point. Hits for the first time. He's had a few shies at the non-striker's end, but this is probably the only time that a direct hit wouldn't result in a wicket. Yeah,
brilliant fielder Andy Kavanagh, just running around to his left and throwing down the stumps at the non-striker's end. There's definitely no one to him there. Greystones just needs to be a little bit wary of him at point. The Hills buzzing now. Got 3 wickets, searching for a fourth. There's a little nick early in the over, a little run-out chance. And yeah, it's a final, and they're certainly all over this at the moment.
Shorter from Killian Everard, and he made no mistake that time. Manpreet Singh hits it for a single out to that fielder on the cover boundary, and he's going to be tired after this spell. Killian Everard, he's bowled a good few extras. When it's been on the money, it's been good, but he's bowled far too many balls.
Yeah, certainly unlike the Hills bowling this amount of wides. Greystones bowled 14 wides in the first innings, and now 7 wides currently in the second innings.
And he's back on the money again. Manages to beat the outside edge of Torfin Newton. Finally the end of the over, he walks off. Gas me a few, Killian Everard, but it's been a good spell despite the extras that he's bowled. 11 gone. Greystone 68 for 3. I feel like that the Hills are slightly in the ascendancy, John.
Yes, definitely. Certainly that wicket in the previous over, a couple wickets of the Kirks have put the Hills slightly ahead. And with Kavanagh only having bowled 1 over, still 3 overs for him to go. Certainly tough work now for Greystones, requiring 7.1 and over.
That's well hit, but straight to that fielder at point. I think the key could lie with Andrew Kavanagh here. Very consistent leg spin bowler, gets it down at a decent pace. He was the one who scored the most runs for the Hills in the first innings.
Yeah, he's had a good game so far. 48 in the first innings, or 59 balls, and now a big spell of bowling coming up for him. He's gone for 6 off his first over. Hit powerfully to mid-off, and Manpreet Singh comes through for a single.
Yeah, their running's been better than we would have seen in the first innings from the Hills. Happy to take on fielders, Greystones, but a single or two and over isn't going to be enough for them. Drag down, hit well, straight at that fielder again in mid-off.
Yeah, the Hills sensing blood here. Only 2 fielders currently outside. As I say, that long on goes back. So 3 fielders in the boundary. A square leg in front of square, long on, and a sweep on the offside.
Again, short, but change up from Andrew Kavanagh. Smart bowling from him as Manpreet Singh shaped up to try and cut that one through covers. Sharp work from him, though, to manage to keep it out.
Yeah, there's also a slip in place, so the Hills really attacking here. I feel a couple more wickets and the game will be theirs.
And watch the spin, as Andrew Leonard said earlier in the piece. It's well fielded by that cover boundary fielder. Strongly hit from Singh, but again, just a single. So good field placement from the Hills as extra cover just creeps in a little bit. Long on, told to stay back. Long off, going back now as well. So real inside, in-out field. Great length. It looks like a team that's played a lot together. Derek Dockrell calls the end of the 12th. Greystones 71 for 3. Yeah, it looks like a team that's played together a lot, John, and I say that because of how specific the field placement is. Like lots of fielders on the boundary, but the fielders that are in the ring very, very tight, and the ball seems to make its way to them a lot.
Yeah, they certainly have their plans in place, and they bowl to their fields. I was watching their match, their semi-final match last week, and the Seamers were bowling to 6-3 offside fields and sometimes 7-2 offside fields. So they got a plan in place, and more often than not, they're disciplined enough to bowl to those fields. And as we say that, the change of bowling from the Hazeldean end. Barry Grimes comes into the attack for the Hills.
Yeah, the hero of the first innings, really. We did mention Andrew Kavanagh. He was the highest scorer with 48, but it was the pyrotechnics of Barry Grimes that entertained near the end of the innings. He had a fantastic last over, clearing the ropes and running really, really well. So let's see what he can do now with the ball.
Yeah, batted very well in the first innings there, Barry Grimes. 19 off 11 balls, really added the impetus to the end of the Hills innings. It looked like they were stuttering a bit towards the end, but 21 off the last over got them up to a competitive total of 131, and that was the momentum that they needed finishing the innings. So we see what he has to offer with the ball now.
Shuffles in, full first ball, but on the stump, so manages to go through the first delivery unscathed.
Manpreet Singh just a little bit frustrated there. The ball on the full side and only just pushed to mid-on.
Yeah, he missed out. A big gap here on the leg side. He could have made use of another full one that squirted through point. It's that man again, Andrew Kavanagh, and on this occasion he doesn't manage to hit the stumps.
Andrew
Always
Kavanagh, what a fielder. Couple yards to his left, picked it up. Another throw at the non-strikers end. This time missed, and that would have been up by Miles Newton. Had no chance. He's very frustrated, Andy Kavanagh. He expects to hit from that range.
I think he had more time than he realised. I don't know if it would have made much difference, but Manpreet Singh going down to speak to his partner, Torfin Newton, says there's no one to him. This time hits the deck, and that's just missed the off stump. Barry Grimes, it's all happening when he's involved.
Yeah, maybe a little bottom edge there, and just short of the keeper. But a good start here from Barry Grimes. 3 dot balls, albeit a couple on the full side, but his fielders are backing him up, as is the keeper. Pressure mounting on the Greystones batsman. Oh, another dot ball outside off, and Manpreet Singh feels he's missed out again on the cut.
Well, he's not wrong. He's going to have to start making contact with those and making good contact to get it past that point fielder. And it's this stage in the game where the pressure really starts to be felt by the batting team. Still 61 to get, and balls running out. Just 7.2 left. A lovely shot from Manpreet Singh. It'll definitely be a double, but it may go all the way, and it does. Crosses the rope, and he'll be happy to finally get that boundary he's been searching for. Much needed for Greystones at this point.
Yeah, much needed boundary from Manpreet Singh. This time on the full ball, full toss, manages to find the gap and beat Mohammed Hassan out on the deep extra cover boundary. The Greystones certainly needed that.
Yeah, he hasn't quite found his length yet, Barry Grimes. He's been lucky not to go for more. He's 4 dot balls and finally a boundary. So he'll want to finish strong. Better length, much better length, but the line is unfortunately too wide outside off. So he'll have to bowl that one again. And how often do we see it that the extra ball can be so costly for a bowler?
Yeah, we see it on a number of occasions. Well, we see what it's a big ball to finish this over. It'll be a good over if he manages to go for a dot, or if it's just a single. Just tucked off the hip by Manpreet Singh to bring an end to the 13th over. Greystones move along to 77 for 3. They now require another 55 runs, and the rate just a fraction under 8 and over.
Well, 8 and over doesn't seem insurmountable, but the hill's really growing into this bowling innings. Lots of experience there. The brains trust, you can see the skipper talking to his leg spinner about the field. Perhaps he wants to hold him back and over, but no lack of experience there. And Roger Kerr making his way into slip as Andrew Kavanagh returns from the Stevenson's end. He's bowled 2 overs so far, gone for just the 9. So if he can continue going at that rate, then the run rate will keep on climbing for Greystones. Good length ball, cut away strongly, but cover fielder comes around and picks it up. So they really need to make sure that they hit every ball for at least a single and look for a boundary, John.
Yeah, Manpreet Singh maybe feels he missed out there. Just a short ball and only cut powerfully, but straight to the extra cover fielder. But Newton pushes out, extra cover comes in, just the single. Yes, important that there are no dot balls now. Needing 8 and over, you need to get a single every ball. And if you don't, hopefully you get a boundary, 1 boundary and over. And it's a good start here. Greystones ticking along, 2 single and single.
Good length again, and this time Manpreet Singh decides to just leave that one go. I think a good option. Wicketkeeper was ready, slip was ready to take the catch, but there's that dot that we were talking about that they can't afford.
Yeah, I'm not sure a late catch with the slip in place is the correct option. This time trying to hit it powerfully, but straight into the ground, takes the pace off it, and Barry Grimes picks up at point. You feel something's going to give here. Pressure building on Greystones.
Great control from the leg spinner.
Another dot. There's 3 in a row now. Good over from Kavanagh. 2 singles to start and now 3 dots. There's a big shot coming.
And he knows how important dots are and how important it is that he gets out of this over without a boundary being scored. The mental kind of impetus that gives the Hills. So he's dropped another fielder on the leg side. Big swing and wide ball signalled by Derek Dockrell. He'll be annoyed with himself. Andrew Kavanagh has very good control, especially for a leg spinner, but ball's wide on that occasion.
Yeah, good thinking. Final ball wants to get out of the over unscathed, so Cal Corner goes back. Short again. Oh, great stop at points. Barry Grimes, one hand. Probably saves 3 runs. That probably had enough power to beat the deep extra cover. One hand, half stops, and save 3 runs. Every run counts in a final.
That's 14 gone. That's 14 gone. 1 run coming from the final delivery. So 3 from that over.
Yeah, excellent over from Andy Kavanagh. Barry Grimes after the excellent stop to continue from the Hazeldine end to Manpreet Singh.
Looks to hit that leg side. Singh can't make contact with the bat. It does hit off the pad and goes for just a solitary run. Yeah, Barry Grimes hadn't quite hit his length in the previous over, so he'll be looking to improve. Didn't get hit for too many runs though, so he's still done a good job for his team. Great fielding from him, and he's batted well, so a good game for him so far. You always want your bigger players to stand up in finals, and that's exactly what Barry Grimes has managed to do so far. Good foot from wicketkeeper Colm Cunneen. That would have almost certainly gone for at least a couple if he had missed it. Standing up to the stumps, the brave guy.
Yeah, there's another dot ball. 50 runs now required for Greystones. 8.6 and over. So the rate still staying around about 8. Good thinking, just taking the helmet off and going back.
Yeah, I think that's a good decision from Cunneen. Very important that he doesn't give away multiple extras. So thick edge from Newton, but third man comes around, manages to cut it off. He won't be able to keep it to just to the single, but he does manage to save the boundary. That's well fielded, and the few Hills support staff that are here show their appreciation. They'll need plenty more shots like that one if they're going to make a fist of this Greystones. With every over that passes, the Hills gaining confidence, and Greystones' position getting ever more desperate.
Good running, yep, good running there between the wickets. Showing the intent. 8.5 and over. It's time. Oh, fielding, what fielding. Andy Kavanagh, backward points again. How many runs has he saved today?
Well, he's just giving himself a little bit of a stretch. I think even he felt that one. He might have rolled onto the ball. Always a sore one if you do it, but it was like a goalkeeper's save there. Such an athlete. And yeah, he's been such an important player for the Hills today, with the bat, with the ball, and in the field. He's worth a lot of runs, that guy. So Barry Grimes settling himself to bowl the final 2 deliveries of his second over. Full again and right through Manpreet Singh. He was looking to accelerate. He saw a gap over mid-on, but Barry Grimes is full and true and gets his man.
Yeah, it's full and straight by Barry Grimes, and Manpreet Singh played all around that. He goes for 10 off 20 balls. Yeah. Greystones losing their 4th wicket. Now 85 for 4. And that's a big wicket. The Hills, look at them. They buzzing now. They sensing. They've got one hand on the Goldfish Telecom YMCA Salver trophy. Barry Grimes once again full, straight. And what a beauty.
Yeah, Patrick Wilkinson comes out with a mountain of work to do. He bowled well in the first innings. Looked like a guy that likes the contest, so maybe he's the right person to be out here with Greystones needing 47 of the final 5.1 overs. More conversations going on with the Hills. Roger Kerr making sure his field is exactly where he wants it. Left-handed Patrick Wilkinson just enforcing a few changes, so got a very backward or square leg, or wide fine leg, whichever you prefer. You got a forward square leg, cover, boundary fielder, long on, and a very wide third man. So 5 out, and then 4 inside the ring.
I think they're happy to give a single off this ball and keep the new man on strike for the over. Oh, good finish to the over, Barry Grimes. Wilkinson just pushes forward to cover, no run.
So that's the end of the 15th. Greystones moving on to 85 for 4, and we'll say thank you and goodbye for now to John Anderson as I welcome back Andrew Leonard.
Yeah, thanks, Izzy. What a cup final we have on our hands here. Talk to me about that celebration from Barry Grimes. How much did you enjoy that, Is?
I actually was too busy watching the Stumps Castle to see his celebration, but I can imagine in my mind's eye that it was exuberant.
It was absolutely exuberant, and I just had to cross-check with one of the Hills support staff going around the outside. I didn't catch his name. Will that celebration be topped when Mohammed Hassan comes in and inevitably takes the winning wicket later in the game? And he just said 2 words to me: "Oh yes."
Well, you called it early, and that'd be great disappointment, but maybe just for us, I'm not sure, Andrew. But great disappointment if he doesn't manage to get that wicket.
If he doesn't get to bowl again. Full toss from Andy Kavanagh, who's bowled really well. Good loud call immediately from Newton, who works that for a single. It's a big task for any batsman coming in now, though. That required run rate really starting to come into the game, pushing up towards 10 and over needed is.
Yeah, huge ask for the new man. It's not the toughest wicket to get in on, but you don't want to face this man, Andrew Kavanagh, first up. He's bowled so well, especially for a leg spinner. It's amazing to see the consistency he's bowled with. He's ringing the changes with the field. He knows exactly where he wants to put it. So big ask for the left-hander. But like I said earlier, he looks like someone who likes a challenge, and that's what he's going to need. That's the attitude he's going to need if he's going to help Greystones towards this total.
Yeah, and I just don't think that they have time, Greystones, to be not looking to hit every ball towards the boundary. Dot balls are going to hurt them at this stage of the game.
But he could be one of those, block the first 2 and then just swing every single other one. So Greystones will be hoping that's what they see. That's a bigger swing.
You nearly called it, and it's going to be time for at least 1 here. Should surely be 2. Mohammed Hassan, the man doing the fielding. So a couple for Patrick Wilkinson. He bowled so well, Patrick Wilkinson, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He was the change that they needed, Greystones. They went for a good few in the first 5 or 6 overs. Then Patrick Wilkinson came on. He bowled a few extras, but he was definitely up for the challenge, and took a few very important wickets.
Nicely bowled by Kavanagh, and Derek Dockrell thinks and is ending up going to give that one a wide. A little bit too much turn. I think that was the googly again from Kavanagh.
Well, there was the telltale bowler looking back at the umpire there. He didn't help himself, Kavanagh. Worked into the leg side. Just the single. Grimes starting to look a little bit tired. He's been working hard all game. Stops that one with his foot.
He's been in the game today, isn't he? Barry Grimes. Exceptional cameo with the bat, smashing a 6 and a couple of 4s in the final over off Michael Kirk, taking a crucial wicket with his bowling, and in the field as well. Despite that drop catch, it's been all action for Grimes so far.
Torfin Newton down the wicket, but just plays a little bit out in front of himself, does Newton.
Good spell this from Andrew Kavanagh. sharp leg breaks, getting a good loop though on them as well, getting the ball to drift and dip. And you can see it was the dip there that deceived Newton. Final delivery of his spell now.
Down the track, is it a chance? Not quite, but the fielder down long on does well to save that one. Just a couple for Newton. Wasn't really a chance. I think he made the right decision in the end down at long on to bail out of that one and save the boundary.
Yeah, really good work in the deep, but they will get back for two. So the equation is simple. 4 overs remain in this Goldfish Telecom YMCA Salver final. Greystones need 40 to win from 4 overs, exactly 10 and over.
Well, the run rate has been creeping up, hasn't it? It's been really disciplined bowling from the Hills. They know exactly where they want to bowl, set their field accordingly, and say to Greystones, see what you can do at that. And while the Kirk brothers were at the crease, you would have thought they had a good chance, but since those two were dismissed, it's been all hills. The hills? All the hills?
The Hills are alive. We'll use that little pun as well. Barry Grimes is going to continue, but it's been a cracking final, been really entertaining. Two sides giving it their all, played in a really good spirit as well. We've had controversial umpiring decisions, we've had drop catches, we've had beautiful deliveries, really good batting and bowling. Life is better down the grades, isn't it? It's more entertaining.
Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen, really. So down the road, it's been a low-scoring final, but an entertaining one. Sometimes you've got to give a little bit to the bowlers. Taryn, you're really struggling. They were reduced to 35 for 9 in the 15th, and in the end, North Kildare ran out 43-run winners in the Ed Sports Russell Court Cup final.
Beats the attempted cut shot of Wilkinson. Every dot ball is massive here. 10 and over required at the start of this over, so you need at least the one boundary each over, really.
Yeah, he's found a good length there, Grimes. The kind of length where Wilkinson's not sure if he should come forward or go back. In the end, he decided to go back and didn't quite catch hold of that one. Fuller, but still unable to make contact, Wilkinson.
Yeah, big swing and a miss this time. Wilkinson, I think none of the batsmen, probably with the exception of Grimes, have found it easy to score right away from the off there.
You're forgetting about your favourite player, Mohammed Hassan. 1 delivery, 6 runs.
Grimes and Hassan, yeah. A little bit unfair. That strike rate of 600 is going to be hard to top from Mohammed Hassan.
Well, what Greystones wouldn't give for someone with a strike rate like that to come in next. But for now, it's down to these two, Wilkinson and Newton. Full again. And back to the bowler.
3 dots, not what you want if you're a Greystones supporter watching on this live stream here. Really good tight stuff from Grimes, though. He's having a day to remember.
Yep. The needle pushing forever in the favour of the Hills in this Goldfish Telecom YMCA Salver final at the Merrion Cricket Club. Barry Grimes just decides he'll have to do that run up again.
Yeah, I wonder, do we have... Well, we probably won't have. I was going to wonder if we have a famous viewer joining us, one of Barry Grimes' best mates, Owen Morgan. But I think Owen, of course, in action today, England, Australia in the ICC Cricket World Cup Super League across the pond. I'm sure if he wasn't, he'd be tuning in.
It's the pad. Bowler not interested. Might be a boundary, in fact. Does go all the way. And it looks like that's the only way that Greystones are going to score a boundary at the moment. It's all been the Hills the last few overs.
Yeah, critical runs though. It's been such a good over so far from Grimes. This one just thudding into the pad of Wilkinson. And third man very, very wide. So with this quick Merrion outfield, always short straight boundaries here as well. Probably only sort of 45 yards or so. Gets away for a crucial 4 runs. They need more of that.
It's a very strange position for that third man. You struggle to figure out what delivery is going to actually be hit there, but just straighten up a little bit. Barry Grimes, 2 to come. Short, pulled away. Didn't get all of it. There are 2 fielders out there. They'll probably keep it to 1. It's good fielding and well collected by Colm Caneen.
Yeah, it just isn't happening at the moment for Wilkinson or for Greystones, unfortunately. Leaving a lot to be done in the final overs of the match. Still 36, 35 more to win now. As the graphics just update. You don't want it to be getting above 2 runs a ball, which is what Greystones need now. That required run rate nudging up towards 12 and over.
Well played from Newton. I'm not sure that was where he was looking for. I think he was looking over mid-on, but he hits the final ball of the 17th over for a single. Greystones move to 98 for 4.
Yeah, just getting behind the 8 ball now, Greystones. 34 more runs required from 18 deliveries. Very difficult at any level of the game to score 2 runs a ball, but with the way the Hills have bowled and down the grades here, it's even more difficult. They're going to need to try and find a way to manufacture some boundaries. The one thing that's going to play in their favour will be the fact that Andy Kavanagh's spell is done, but the depth that the Hills have just mean one young talent is replaced by another. Killian Everard will come back into the attack with a change of ends for him.
Yeah, he's been impressive, Killian Everard. Bowls with good pace. He has bowled a few extras, but when he's got it right, he's bowled really, really well. The extra pace may mean boundaries, however.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing if I was in the Greystones camp I'd be pleased about. You'd be thinking, well, at least there's the extra pace coming on to the deliveries to give us a chance. Even a streaky edge, maybe down to third man, I'll get you 4. But if I'm Thorfinn Newton, I've got to target straight here. 45-yard hit. Try and power the ball down the ground. Got to clear the ropes. Have to find some maximums.
Yeah, well, I mean, usually I'd say for a youngster against a quick bowler, he might find it a little bit more joy going past point, but that's where the best fielder on show today has been. Nothing's got past him, Andrew Kavanagh. So they'll have to find somewhere else to score their runs.
Yes, here comes Killian Everard. A critical couple of overs these. He's going to bowl over at number 18 and 20, you'd have to think. I think we might not see Mohammed Hassan again, unfortunately. The way Barry Grimes is going, he's probably going to finish out his 4-over spell and bowl the 19th over. 18 balls remain. It's 34 runs to win.
Short to start, but Thorfinn Newton unable to get hold of that. So these two teams, the Hills and Greystones, playing for the Goldfish Telecom YMCA Salver. We've yet another game coming to you from Merrion Cricket Club in South County Dublin later on.
Comes off a leading edge, and singles aren't going to do it at the moment for the Hills. They need to find boundaries. Such experience in this Hills setup as well. You think of the likes of Malcolm Byrne, Roger Keir. These guys, they're marshalling the troops really well underneath that captaincy of the evergreen Keir.
Well, quite a marked difference in the body language of the two batters we're seeing right now compared to the same point in the innings for the Hills. Barry Grimes came out and had a real can-do attitude, ran really well between the wickets and then had a very strong final over. But yeah, I'll just mention that final that's coming up later. Hosts Merrion Threes will face local rivals YMCA Threes in the LHK Insurance Middle Cup final. That's at 3 o'clock, so do join us for that, for yet more Cricket Leinster finals day.
Action, yeah. 7 finals across the course of these 2 days. After all the doom and gloom and troubles you've had this year, lovely way to finish out the season. And they still can't get the bat on ball. Oh, it's going to be signalled wide. Killian Everard can't believe it. George Dockrell, he's been consistent, and Derek Dockrell, even thinking of his son George, plays cricket for Ireland, the Leinster Lightning captain. Derek Dockrell's been consistent, but he's been quite harsh on that tight off stump line.
Yes, he's been quite harsh, all right, but he's been the same for both teams. So short, and this time Derek Dockrell decides that it's not a wide.
Yeah, they've been consistent with that, in fairness. Anything just down leg side, they haven't been given it. A little bit confusing for those of you watching who get so used to the cricket on the television where everything down the leg side is automatically wide. It kind of keeps it simpler, really, as well. But deciding that there is an attempt at the shot there, and end results the dot ball. Gets it this time, but straight to the protection in the deep. Need to take the aerial route. We haven't seen the aerial route, really, with the exception of Harry Kirk for Greystones.
No, we haven't seen the power hitting that we saw right at the end of the first innings so far, and time is running out for Greystones. They have managed to pass the 100 mark, but it's probably a little bit too little too late for Greystones.
That's a mammoth task. 31 more runs. Dot balls just aren't going to do it, but he's bowling exceptionally well here, Killian Everard. Such a nice action, gets it through at a good pace, and then he shows us the change-up, the slower ball.
Yeah, beautifully bowled by Everard. Thorfinn Newton had no idea about that one, threw the shot far too early, and Killian Everard showing all of his skills.
Yeah, more protection going out into the deep to where Newton tried to hit that one into the leg side.
So one ball in this 18th over to go. Top edge.
Comes off the top edge, but was that a full toss? Will it be signalled no ball? Derek Dockrell looks at his umpiring colleague and he's decided that it's going to be out. He was down the track, and that's probably ended up giving that decision. So the end result is going to be Newton has to go. Couldn't find any time and just skews off the outside edge. Good reward for Everard. He finds the wicket, caught and bowled.
Yeah, he's played well, Thorfinn Newton. Bowled well in the first innings, apart from that final over that he bowled where he was taken on by Barry Grimes. But probably not the man to be powering the ball over the boundary in the final overs. That instead is going to fall to a new batsman. And I have to say, there was no ball called in the first innings, Andrew, that we thought was probably marginal. That one looks like it was much higher than that one that was given. Yeah, and you could see Wilkinson was immediately holding his arm out saying, is that not a no ball? I think the only thing that counted against Thorfinn Newton was the fact he came down the track, so difficult to judge whether or not it would have dipped below. The law obviously is the batsman's initial stance, so where he is in his normal stance, he came down the track. Two umpires had a look at each other. Derek Dockrell and Srinivas Karp, and they decided that it was a legal delivery. So joy for the Hills, and the Hills surely on the cusp of taking this YMCA Salver trophy now. 31 runs to win off just 12 deliveries, or 30 for that magic super over. We need a super over this weekend, don't we? I'm afraid we're probably not going to see it in this game. You might have to wait a few more hours until we see that. Stephen Rowan, the man to come out, and a mammoth task for him. But you never know in cricket. That's the beauty of the game, and that's why we love it so much. Get a couple of boundaries here early in the 19th over, and you just never know. Yeah, the left-hand, right-hand combination, the only thing maybe playing in the Hills, or in Greystones' favour. They can target the short boundaries, the leg side of the right-hander here. You're going to hit it to the offside, straight to the man. That cover, he takes a really good catch. Diving, sprawling, Rowan's stay at the crease is a very short one. He's gone for a first ball duck. And it's so nearly all over, she wrote, for the men from Skerries. They are on the cusp now of taking this title. Well, I am just astounded by that catch. What movement from that man at extra cover. He's done really well to come in and take that opportunity. So not only are dots important, but wickets also very, very important. I think it might have been Malcolm Byrne, the gnarled veteran, coming in quickly at extra cover, making good ground and taking it just inches above the ground. Well, he wasn't moving too quickly when he was batting, but he certainly got on his bike for that opportunity, sprawled forward, full stretch, and caught it just inches off the ground. So good take from him. Baz Grimes, no doubt, will be happy to claim another wicket. Yeah, enjoyed the few acrobatics after, rolling around. A little bit like a Premiership footballer afterwards. Barry Grimes is having some game. Second wicket for him. And he's been the difference between the two sides, you'd have to say, at the moment. Well, him along with Andrew Kavanagh, I think, have been the star players for. I don't know if that's something that we're used to seeing, is it? But he's entitled to point out to the batsman that he's backing up too much.
The last thing I want today is a man-cad. I am not a man-cad man at all. I don't think it's within the spirit of our game.
I think I know why. Because you love backing up.
I do love backing up, absolutely. But equally, Barry Grimes well within his rights to just give a warning. Wilkinson wants a single. The new man doesn't, and the direct hit, Barry Grimes. He can do no wrong today. He points to the sky. The dance moves are coming out from the keeper. He simply picked it up, underarmed it, and Will Houston is run out without facing.
Well, everything that he does turns to gold. It's not Will Houston that was batting. Unfortunately,
Graphics have sold us a cropper there. I thought that was Will Houston. It is, in fact, it's Martin Potts run out without scoring. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fair enough. But Barry Grimes, he just flicked it underarm. I think he knew anything that he tries today comes off. He's just... Potts wasn't happy. He was shouting at his partner while they were running that single, an ill-fated single. But you have to think, Patrick Wilkinson trying to do the right thing, trying to take every available run. And there probably was one if Potts had been backing up properly like you would, Lenny.
Well, I'd have been halfway down the track. Exactly right. You've got to, as soon as the bowler, in my book, as soon as that back foot lands, you can sprint. And if you don't mind being run out in terms of with the ball being hit back with that freak deflection, you'll be all right. Powered, and we could have the first boundary that we've seen in the last couple of overs. We will. Long on is in the circle, and that's a good strike. And I just wonder, is it Will Houston now at the crease, or are our graphics again selling us a cropper?
Well, I think we might have to wait to see
It
Will
doesn't look like Will Houston to me, so I think
No.
I'd ignore that one again. Yeah, Phil Cheetham, the big tall left arm, quick. Finds a boundary off his first ball to keep his side in the game. That required run rate, 16 and over. The equation now, still 27 more runs needed. Lovely shot. Where was Cheetham earlier in the innings? Going to be at least 2. In fact, it's going to be a boundary 4 as the fielder dives over it like the London Bridge. Back-to-back boundaries, keeping the Greystones chase alive.
Beautifully struck those two. He's a very easy swing, Phil Cheetham, and you have to wonder why he wasn't in earlier, but it's easy to say that now for us, isn't it? He's going in with freedom. He knows he has to score boundaries. He's perhaps just swinging and having a bit more luck than some of his predecessors.
22 to tie off 8. There's still a game on. It's never over in T20 cricket, is it? Cheetham, can he find a big one? He's got to find a big one to the leg side. If Grimes angles one in, it's a short hit towards the clubhouse here, probably only about 40 yards. Pressure on Grimes, back-to-back boundaries he's just been hit for. Smashed and dropped. That would have been an unbelievable catch from Barry Grimes. He's done no wrong today, but it was hammered back at him, and I think the way you've got to look at that is he's saved 4.
Yeah, I think I'd be happy with that actually as a bowler. You've managed to stop the third boundary in a row. Yes, he put it down, but it was hit with some power. His long off is dropped back. Really, really easy swing and great contact from Phil Cheetham. If he'd managed to get a little bit more elevation on that, it would have been a certain boundary.
A little bit of self-protection there as well from Barry Grimes. 7 balls left, 22 more needed. Hit into the offside. I think that could be a boundary 4. The outfield's very quick, and it is 4 more. Where was Phil Cheetham earlier in this innings for Greystones? He's got the long handle out. He scored 12 off just 3 deliveries. Get him on strike. We could still have a game on in this final over.
Well, what an entrance to the game, or the batting innings at least, for Phil Cheetham. 19 runs required from the last over. We did see a lot of runs scored from the final over in it was 21 that the Hills piled on in the final over of their innings to bring their total to 131. So just the sparse 19 required from Greystones. And if we can see that man Phil Cheetham on strike again, you just never know, Lenny.
You have one job here as Patrick Wilkinson. You've got to get Cheetham on strike. you've got to take one for the team, get a single wherever it goes, get him on and give him a chance. 19 to win off 6 deliveries, as you say. We're going to have a change in bowling, and I swear I have not rigged this because it's going to be Mohammed Hassan. I called this hours ago. I can't believe it's not actually Cillian Everard, but the most enthusiastic cricketer of all 22 of them out there today has got the pressure on his shoulders. Can he bowl that delivery to take the winning wicket that I called about an hour ago?
Well, he's got some competition for most enthusiastic cricketer on the ground. I think Barry Grimes, when he's been taking those wickets and doing what he does around this game, he's been showing us enthusiasm. But Hassan, if he manages to pull this one off for the Hills, I think will be the winner of that category.
Yeah, what a brilliant final we have here. It's going to be 19 to win off the final over the game. Just the graphics at the bottom of your screen, they are not correct. Mohammed Hassan is starting his 4th over, not starting his 5th over. He's bowled 3 overs, none for 19 at the moment, so ignore that little anomaly at the bottom of your screen. He is going to bowl the final over this match with the Goldfish Telecom YMCA Salver in the balance. 19 to win, 6 balls left. Here we go. Pulled powerfully into the deep to the short boundary, but it's going to be just a single, and I don't think that's a bad result for Greystones. It gets Cheetham back onto strike. Can he pull this out of the fire for the men from Wicklow?
Well, I think it really depends on how much Phil Cheetham has paid attention to the early parts of this game. There won't be as much movement for Hassan at this stage, but with his action he will push it in to Cheetham. So if he knows that's coming and he's happy to hit leg side, then we could see pyrotechnics here at the end. Could he be the hero of the day?
Yeah, it was this end that Barry Grimes did all the damage from at the end of the innings. As you said, 21 the Hills seconds took from the final over of their innings. If Cheetham and Greystones can match that, they're going to be the champions. 5 balls remain, 18 to win, 17 for a super over. Hit into the offside powerfully. Can the fielder stop it? He can, but he's going to end up sliding and kicking it away to his right. That's Malcolm Byrne, I think. I'm going to end up with 2 runs to the total. Crucially, Isobel, Cheetham keeps the strike.
Yeah, I think they had a good understanding there, the 2 batsmen. They knew they wanted Cheetham back on strike. Malcolm Byrne opted to just lie down on that ball. Not a bad option.
Safety first.
And we're going to see a change in the field, I think. Roger Kerr moving around to the offside, giving a little extra protection.
Yeah, the men in the deep, long off, long on, deep mid-wicket, deep backward square leg, and sort of a deep point really. So both fine leg and third man in the circle. 16 to win off 4. 4 boundaries will do it. Smash down the ground. It's going to split the 2 of them. There's one of the 4 boundaries they need, Isobel. Greystones in this game. 12 more to win. 3 deliveries remain.
Well, I can't believe that Cillian Everard isn't bowling this over. I know this is your favourite player, but Cillian Everard has the change-ups that are required at this point in the game. He showed us his slower ball, his last over from the Stevenson's end, and I think that it's one of those where Phil Cheetham is swinging when he thinks the ball is going to reach him. So if there's a little change-up that Hassan can bowl now, now's the time to break it out.
12 to win off 3. Slower ball, and it's going to be wide outside the off stump. Immediately called wide. You said Mohammed Hassan didn't have the slower ball in the locker. Is it? There he has it. He's got it all.
Well, I said a disguised slower ball. I'm not sure you can call that a disguised slower ball, I'm afraid. He's, I think, having a quick word to himself.
11 to win off 3 deliveries. 10 will get us to a super over. Hit into the offside, but no timing, and really good captaincy by Roger Kerr. He just put the extra protection into extra cover. That's where Cheetham has been hitting it. That's a crucial moment. Just a single. It's a tall task for Wilkinson now. 10 to win off 2.
Yeah, really good field placement from Roger Kerr there. He recognised that the shorter boundary was on this side to the right of the screen as you're looking at it. Put extra protection there because Phil Cheetham did manage to score a boundary on the offside the previous over. So He's ringing the changes again. Left-hander facing. Mammoth task for Patrick Wilkinson. He'll no doubt be targeting this shorter boundary to the right of screen as you're looking at it.
What was Cheatham doing all the way down at number 9? It's been an outstanding cameo from the opening bowler. 19 off 7. They needed to get him in earlier, Greystones. Huge task for Wilkinson, but he has the short boundary on the leg side. If he can get it into the hitting arc, all 3 men in the leg side there on the deep. I'm sure just short fine leg in the circle. 10 to tie off 2. Change in the field. Nearly a no ball for not enough men in the circle. It's all happening here. 10 to win off 2. 9 to tie. Hit into the leg side. No timing. Cheatham wants 2, but that's not going to be it. And this trophy is going to go to the Hills if Mohammed Hassan can keep his foot behind the line and not bowl too many wides. If he can just make the last delivery a legal one, it's more than 6 they need now.
Yeah, it's a tough one for the batsman at this point, isn't it? They need 9 to win, and there's nothing you can do about it. You got to just try and hit the ball for 6, hope that it's a no ball.
Here come the celebrations. Wait for them. They're coming.
If there's no cartwheel, you owe me a Snickers.
Beautifully bowled, the inside edge. He won't find the wicket that he wants, but he will find the win. Great scenes of celebration for the Hills second cricket club, and it ends up being a little bit understated. He didn't find anything in the wickets column, but he did hold his nerve in the final over. It's always a difficult task. A beautiful Yorker to finish out from Mohammed Hassan, and the Hills seconds are the very worthy winners of the Goldfish Telecom YMCA Salver.
A muted celebration from Hassan, but he did bowl his best ball of his spell, last ball of the game. Really good Yorker, makes sure at the end for his team. His 6 off the final delivery of the first innings, and then a Yorker off the final delivery of the second innings, so impressive from him.
Yeah, and how critical was that 6 that he hit off the final ball in the first innings? The winning margin ends up being just 7 runs, so we've had a thrilling final. It's ebbed and flowed. Both sides could have won it. Both sides should have won it. Both sides could have lost it. But it ends up that the first winners of the finals day are going to be the Hills seconds. And worthy winners they are, Isobel. Our congratulations to everyone up in Skerries. But really, on a day like today, with the sun shining after the year we've had, cricket's the winner.
Played in a great spirit, great enthusiasm, and it's really been a game that ebbed and flowed. Few standout performers, but really everyone on that pitch has played their part. So the Hills have won, but Greystones can be proud of their performance throughout the competition and in this final.
Yeah, very well said. Couldn't agree more with you. And lovely to see the respect between the sides, the elbow bumps, and great joy for the men from Skerries. They're a proud club, they're a magic club. Really celebrated their 50th anniversary last year, and they'll be bringing the silverware back up to Fingal. So our congratulations to them. We're going to leave you and bid you adieu for now, but we'll be back with you in under an hour's time for what's going to be the 5th of 7 finals and our final live stream this afternoon. So for me, Andrew Leonard, for my co-commentators Isobel Joyce and John Anderson, our thanks to you all for tuning in and watching. We'll see you in about 40 minutes time.